All right, we are live, and I'm not alone. I got some good friends here with me. Let's just do a quick roll call. Right to my right or my left, depending on how you look at it. I got Rock and Robbie. How you doing today?
Station, I'm so excited to be here, Bueller, and thanks for hosting.
Very much. I'm looking forward. It's been 4 months, man. I've been looking forward to hosting again. Finally got an opportunity to do so. But right below Robbie is some other guy that I spend time with on Mondays. Bob, how you doing today?
Station, my friend. I'm doing okay. I've had a rough time this week. I've not been feeling too well, but I'm glad to be here. And again, thanks for hosting, my friend.
Awesome. And then right next to Bob, we got fresh off his cat nap. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm good, man. Good to be hanging out with you fine young fellows.
Yeah, we're all older than you, so I mean,
so young.
There you go.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Happy birthday, Dylan.
Oh yeah, happy birthday the other day for Dylan.
Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you, my brother.
Dylan's 18 years old now, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But, this is the best comic book of the month, and this is a show that we rotate between our 4 channels every month. So we're going to be looking at the best comics of April that we enjoyed, and we decided to start off the show today with the first comic that came out during the first week of April, which is King in Black. And that was obviously the big storyline from Marvel and Donny Cates. And we're going to kind of hit King in Black number 5 and Venom number 34, which was the final part of King in Black for that whole story arc that's now finished. So we'll go ahead and start with Robbie. Robbie, what was your first take on King in Black and Venom 34, how they wrapped up that story that was delayed for the last 2 months, which I personally think kind of the steam kind of got left out because of that. So what's your initial thoughts?
I mean, the steam did kind of the wind got knocked out of it, right? Because of that delay, because it was meant to be like 5 short, sweet issues, kind of just bang, bang, bang. You know, we're tired of these events that last forever. Let's do something short and sweet. And it didn't really wind up that way. I think the ending is okay. It's like an ending, though, that I feel like any writer would have come up with, right? You know, there were some great twists and turns. And I think that Donnie's entire Venom run was one of like the absolute best Venom run I've ever read. I loved it. It got into the character of Eddie Brock. It introduced so much to the lore and the mythology. It introduced Dylan, not this Dylan, but the other Dylan. And I liked all that, but then it builds up and it's like, you got this idea. And by the way, everybody, full spoilers and all this stuff tonight.
Yeah, full spoilers just so everyone knows. This is what the show's about.
Yeah.
But like the whole God of Light thing, which was set up from the beginning, and then you find out that that's actually the Captain Universe entity and power. That's really neat and cool. But I feel like they didn't really dive into it, right? Like he gets the powers, he grabs Mjolnir, and you know what? So many people have grabbed Mjolnir now. Like it didn't even make me feel like that was that big of a deal. I was more impressed with what he did with the surfboard, but I mean, it was cool. It had big, boisterous moments, and I'm wanting to sit down and just kind of read it from Venom number 1 all the way through Absolute Carnage, through Venom Island, and into King in Black, and see if it evens it out. But I was kind of let down a little bit by how simple the ending was. Like it didn't and as soon as he gets so Eddie Brock gets the Captain Universe power, and then at the end, immediately it's gone. He's like, okay, you don't need me. I'm gone. And we're left with the idea that now he's the King in Black. And I think that's cool and that's interesting, but I'm excited for where it leaves the character and what can happen next, with whoever's going to continue this journey. Right. But I was kind of let down in Donny Cates' ending because I thought that it was just a very kind of easily done ending that kind of just wrapped things up without a lot of consequence.
I was a little, because like we said before, this got delayed. Last 2 months, it got delayed 2 months. And for the 2 extra months it took to come out, it really didn't seem like it needed that 2 months. Like you just said, they just kind of wrapped it up really fast. So why we didn't get a better ending, it doesn't make any sense. We should have. With the extra time that they had for the story to put it together, it really didn't make any sense. And also, they really didn't tie up his son. I mean, at issue 3, when his son kind of becomes really powerful, they really don't play anything into that at the very end of the issue. And you barely get anything on there. And then the Venom, 34, which is really, and we're talking about Venom 34 as well, but really it's not even necessary for the story. It's just kind of all build up to the final battle, which kind of takes place in the King of Black number 5. And his son isn't even involved. And I thought he would have much more of a major role by the end of the story arc than he did in the middle of the story arc myself. Let me go ahead and go to Dylan, because I know, Dylan, you're a big Donny Cates fan. You've even made videos about Donny Cates. and how much you adore and love him. It's kind of weird. But you know what, Dylan, I want to hear from you. What was your thoughts on King in Black, the whole story arc, and then obviously the issue 5, which we got earlier this month?
I thought it was good. It was a little kind of expected, you know. It's a little safe. I feel like it played out, as Robbie said. I think the artwork is definitely the best part of issue 5, if anything. I mean, Stegman definitely killed it, and so did J.P. Mayer. A lot of great big, you know, panels. So, I mean, that was probably the best part about, you know, the series. But I would like to go back and reread it. But with all the tie-ins, everybody kind of knew that everything was going to be fine, as it always is in the Marvel universe. With Donny Cates, we kind of felt that there was going to be bigger stakes, and it would have been a little bit, you know, of a rougher ending than just kind of the same old usual Marvel. Everything always works out in the end, you know. With Donny Cates, I kind of expected a little bit more. I still enjoyed it, and it is, I mean, as Robbie has said, it is the best Venom run ever, you know. And I'll take his word because he's read all the Venom runs that they've ever done. But I still enjoyed it. I think it was great. I'm looking forward to how it's going to wrap up in issue 35, right? But yeah, I do agree. I think they should have done a little bit more with Dylan, man. I mean, come on, dude. He named it after the greatest dude ever right here, you know? Like,
I'm sure that's where it came from.
Yeah, no, actually, I think his like nephew's name is Dylan or something, he said. But you know, it was cool. It was dope. I love all those big splash panels, but like I said, I think the best part was the artwork, and it was really cool to kind of see Eddie become the King in Black, and they kind of do a little like they're in that Carnage issue, the black, white, and red or whatever. There's kind of like an aftermath where like Carnage kind of comes back as a great white shark and attaches himself to somebody. Then Eddie comes back and he's like, "Nah, dude, like it ain't going down like that no more. I'm the King in Black, and I run all this shit," and just and rips the symbiote from him. So you know, it's cool to see that, and I'd like to see like a storyline with him just straight up as the King in Black. That would be kind of cool, but you know, I don't know what we're gonna get, you know, in the future. So we'll see. But it was good, you know. But I expected more, honestly. I expected a little bit more.
For me, when I got the first issue, I was really hyped. I mean, the first issue like blew me out of the water. How they jumped right into the battle, and it was just full guns blazing. And for me, like if I were to grade the first issue, it's like A plus, and then by the last issue, you know, it's gone way down to like a C plus or something like that. It just kind of was flat at the end, which I wish it would have ended a little bit more with a bang, you know, for what this was supposed to be, I think. And then now we're only sitting on one more issue of Venom coming out next month, and that's it. Venom's done as far as the Donny Cates version, but we get a larger issue, so we'll see how he kind of wraps that up. But Bob, let's go to you, my friend. You with us?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right,
you know,
Bob, what's your thoughts there, buddy? My fellow coffee host.
With King in Black, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I mean, issue 5 was kind of anticlimactic compared to how everything was set up. I mean, I think there was a bigger sacrifice that Eddie made inside of the whole Absolute Carnage storyline. I think that was a bigger sacrifice than anything he did inside of the King in Black. The setup for him, you know, becoming, you know, the God of Light, that was my biggest disappointment with issue number 34. We had the King in Black number 4. They had already teased that he was going to be the God of Light. They took that whole issue to basically tell you, yes, he's the God of Light. And so that was kind of a throwaway issue for me. Yeah. But there were a lot of things that they were setting up that seemed like it was going to be a lot bigger than it actually was. When we had that Wraith storyline, and they were kind of teasing who the God of Light was, there was a symbol on the ground that had these 6 circles in it, and that really felt like that they were going to be bringing the Infinity Stones into the fray. At least that's what it felt like. And then, of course, inside of the books, I forget if it was the end of Thor, if it was the end of Venom, they had that tease with Thanos holding Mjolnir with the Infinity Gems with an army of the dead behind him. And maybe that's something that'll still come into play. But him becoming the King of Black just kind of felt very safe, anticlimactic to where we thought it was going to go. And Dylan, it really felt like in that last book, he was just an afterthought to just tie everything up. And that's kind of, I was disappointed in that, because so much of the crux of what was going on inside of Eddie was doing all this to take care of Dylan. And then all this stuff happens and you get this like 2-panel spread where he's like, okay, everything's cool now here. And that was it. And so I was highly disappointed in that. I'm interested to see where they, where Donny Cates takes it going forward. But, I really think that in the whole scheme of things, everybody felt like he was setting up something so much bigger than it actually became. And so for that reason, I was disappointed.
I think we're all in agreement. It started out good. It was still a good story, but it just kind of fell flat at the very end. I think we all kind of agree that it could have been more. And I think we were all hoping it would have been more as well. I want to take a minute and kind of just address the chat, just say hello to some people now that we're kind of got the ball rolling. We have, let's see, Dark Bleak, hello. Tony, hello. TM Nerdy, Travis, hello. We got Robbie's girlfriend, hello. We have Shane, hello. How you doing? Let's see, Spine Ticks, hello. Appreciate you stopping by. Nerdy Couch is in here, and we're going to be talking about Nerdy Couch here in a quick minute after I say hello to some people in here. Let's see. We're just going to scroll through here pretty quick. Air Spider, hello. Logan, my good friend, hello. My personal doctor that I've never met before. James, hello. Headless, hello. DC Dude, hello. Appreciate everyone joining us tonight. We've already got 75 people watching already.
Nice.
Let's see. Death Timo, hello. Radio, hello. Eric, I just got done having coffee with Eric. How you doing, my friend? That was a lot of fun. I think my mouse batteries just died.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Arigia, hello. I don't know. I probably got that wrong. Let's see. Grug, hello. Scott, hello. Yeah, my mouse batteries are dead. Sorry. Okay, let me just scroll down here with this really fast. And I'll kind of get back to some other stuff. This really sucks. Jamiro, hello. Ben, hello. Boyle had 7. Hey, Matt, what's going on, my friend? But real quick, before we get into some more books, I want to share my screen really fast. And this is for a really good cause. And I had told my friend that I would share this on here. Okay, so let's see. There it is right there. So my friend and our friend, Nerdy Couch, his niece, Nev, has epilepsy. And they're doing a fundraiser right now. And all the information is in the description below to go to the GoFundMe page. And you can help get her a what do they call it? A dog, that assistant dog or whatnot, to help her with their days. And we're trying to raise, I think it's like $20,000. They're very expensive for these trained dogs. And so there's a ways to go, but this is something we're trying to do. And there's actually some prizes that are being given away. I've donated actually some of my exclusive books to be given away. And that's all Nerdy Couch is kind of handling all that for us. So if you want to go to their GoFundMe page, the link is down below. Also, Nerdy Couch made a video about it also with a lot more information involved. And the link is down below for that as well. So please check that out. If you can help raise some money, that would be great. If you know someone that could help raise some money, please share it. That would be awesome as well. So, I mean, if you're not able to help, but if you know someone who does help for stuff like this, please let them know, because this is going to a good cause for a very special young lady, and she just needs some community assistance, and that's what we do here. So please check out the link below, and let's do our part, see what we can do, see if we can't raise some money for them. Okay, sorry, my mouse is not working. Okay, stop screen. There we go. All right. Okay, now we're back. Let's go ahead and talk about some books. All right. So, Robbie, we'll have you go first. Do me a favor. Show me one of your favorite books and tell me about it for this month.
I will tell you what my favorite book of the month was. And it is The Picture of Everything Else, number 3. This was by far the book of the month for me. There were some really good books this month that I'm really excited to talk about. But this is some, and I know I've been saying this a lot because I think we're in like a resurgence of some really high level talent in the industry right now, and a lot of enthusiasm coming out of a new crop of talent, right? But this is next level, right? Like this is really freaking good. Like the writing is so top notch. Dan Waters, his use of language, by the way, he's going to be on Pop Culture Philosophers May 13th, 2 p.m. Central Time. So I'm really excited. He's one of my favorite writers. The way he can use language, the way he uses pace, the way he uses his concept. It's about the picture of Dorian Gray, the guy that painted that. Now he's taking his talents to a whole nother level, and he's painting landscapes. And it's talking about, first of all, the idea of what does it mean when the guy who painted the picture of Dorian Gray paints landscapes? He affects reality. And then it also is talking about how fiction changes reality. It's kind of like some of the themes that Department of Truth are kind of talking about, but this is talking about it more from the art perspective, less from the truth perspective, right? I freaking love it. The artwork by Kishore Mohan is beautiful, gorgeous. And Aditya Bidkar's lettering is just magnificent. This is the same cat that letters Department of Truth, Swamp Thing. He's just, look at the versatility in his style. Look at the beautiful colors there. This is just such an amazing book. And in issue 3, it hits a point. It hits a point where the concept just shines through. You get it. And it really takes the whole book and puts it in a different perspective. I love this book. It is straight up masterful. This is going to be an evergreen thing. Like these Savage Shores, these new crops of books from like white noise creators, like Dan Waters, like Ram V, they are like the future Invisibles or Sandman or Watchmen. Like these books can stay on shelves forever because this is a timeless story and it's just so impeccably well crafted. Picture of Everything Else, number 3, my favorite book of the month for April 2021.
Yeah, that's an amazing pick, Robbie. It's definitely by far my pick of the month as well. I've been saying since issue 1 that that book is dang near a masterpiece. His use of language, you're right, is just it's so incredible. The way he goes back and forth, the chess game that he plays inside of conversation, done in the way that back in the time of the Bohemians would have been so right, picture spot on perfect. The way Aditya Bidkar is doing the lettering inside of there is really kind of nuanced as well. He'll have these curves to the pointers when they're basically going back and forth in that kind of bourgeois way. And then when it's straight to the point, he uses just a regular pointer on it. And it really causes this nuance to happen in the midst of reading those bubbles that that's a cut above. The other thing is Mohan, the artwork inside of that book. There's some things where he has some interludes. Inside of book 2, there was an interlude where the guy that he's in a relationship, he's reading the letter, they get the breakup letter, and you see in the background the shadow of the emotion that's coming across just in the silhouette of the guy. That was just so well done. Inside of this book, you get a flashback of the guy who has the talent of him actually telling his backstory. And there's these kind of sickly white and gray panels that are only punctuated by those sickly reds that come in when basically Dorian Gray is he's stabbing him to death. Yeah. And so we get that whole back story as to what drove him to go into the area that he has. And of course, inside of issue 1, he's called the Butcher of Paris because he's experimenting, and he's basically using his paintings to see how he can affect the lives of people. I don't think that can be forgiven, which is the part that our main character is having a problem with. But in doing so, he's created an experiment to go so far as not just to affect people, but you're right, to affect landscapes. And his ultimate goal is to create a world in which nobody dies. Yeah. This is such an amazing story, the way it's been laid out, and the relationships that we've watched throughout the book, and then of course his relationship to his art. Man, this is just a cut above anything else that I've read this year. Like I said, it's a masterpiece. I have gone back and read the first couple of issues just because I can't believe how well it's done. So yes, my pick of the month as well. I highly recommend it.
I didn't read it.
Okay.
But I have it. How about that?
Nice.
You have Canto too, but you haven't read that either.
I did, but I bought Canto out of spite, not because I wanted it.
Spite pick.
It was a spite buy. But let me just double check. And real quick, I got my mouse working. My daughter's in the chat.
Station.
Hello, Paige.
Hey, Paige.
That's my daughter. She's absolutely perfect. Here, look at this. Look, see? I'm hip. I'm cool. I got it. Look at that. Dylan, what about you? You got a copy of this? Oh, crap. Dylan, what do you think? Did you read it, buddy?
Yeah, I read it. I knew Robbie and Bob would be mentioning it, so I had to because I had to read issue 2 and 3 actually today because I had got shorted this copy, so I just got this like a week ago. But it's a phenomenal book, as we would say on the horror show, bro. I mean, I love these like white covers too, honestly. But the whole book is just a masterpiece. I mean, Bob, I can't say anything more than what Bob said. I mean, he put it right on the money. I mean, the book is a masterpiece. The artwork is so meticulous, and it just goes perfect with the story. Aditya Bidikar, as Robbie always says, man, is probably the best, I mean, letterer in the game right now. I mean, he's just killing it.
Of all time. I'll be honest. I think he's nobody. Look at how in this one and in Department of Truth, he affects the tone of the book. Yeah. Like, that's crazy to think that a letterer is, I mean, they always have, but to actually utilize the technique to do it on another level is so amazing to me.
Yeah. It's this last issue too was just really good, man. There's just so many good panels. I mean, this dude is just getting freaking stabbed in the neck repeatedly, you know? I mean, it's a great
horror book.
It really is, man. It just has so many levels going for it, you know? It's an artistic book, honestly. And it's probably one of my favorite Vault books. I mean, it is my favorite Vault book going on right now, no doubt. But it's up there like this and like These Savage Shores are probably two of my favorite of all time. I really can't. Is it it's a 5-issue series, right?
Yeah.
So we got 2 more, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, because once all 5 come out, I want to reread it again, because it's one where you read it multiple times, you're going to keep picking up on multiple nuances and everything, you know. So definitely one that is worth checking out.
Now, I did read the first one, but the reason I haven't read the third, because I missed out number 2. My LCS never even got a copy of it. So I got to get with Rogue Trader, and he'll probably hook me up with number 2 or something like that. But I enjoyed the first one. I actually read the first one on Robbie's recommendation, and Bob really liked it as well. So that's why I picked up the first one. And but yeah, I'm just missing the issue. But awesome. I kind of figured you'd pick that one, Robbie, to be honest. I was looking at my books, and that's the reason why I grabbed it.
There was no Decorum this month. You know, the last Decorum came out.
I noticed. I looked at it when the Decorum came out. I'm like, nope, it came out the week before. So yeah, it's not going to be in there. So anyway, let's move on to Bob. And Bob, do you have a favorite book of the month?
Well, everything else was definitely it was my pick of the month for sure. I'll just throw out a random one that I totally geeked out over. I don't know if you guys have read this one, but by Bad Idea, that Tankers number 1, really enjoyed that book. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read this one at all.
I haven't gotten to read any of those Bad Ideas.
Yeah, that's the hard thing, because they're not in all comic shops. And again, I wasn't sure if I'd be getting any of the Bad Idea books, but my LCS keeps throwing in my box, and you did get it. Did you read it, Bueller?
I went through it. I haven't read it yet. Man, I've been wanting to. I actually had it with me to read, and I got tied up. But they didn't have it when it first came out. Like I didn't get this till 2 weeks after it came out. So I literally just picked it up just like a few days ago. And I don't know why, but they didn't get any of the not first prints. They just have the first print sitting on the shelf. Wow. There's a bunch of them there. I mean, they got like 40 of them just sitting there right now today. So
very cool.
I've heard it's really good. The story, the premise of it, when I read the little synopsis, was really interesting as far as what they do and go back in time, and they come back and the dinosaurs and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
Wow.
it's basically big corporations looking at the fact that fossil fuel is running out, and of course, fossil fuel comes from fossils, dinosaurs, and so they
Is that
take
what it is?
a way to go back in time to see if they can basically start harvesting dinosaurs, or not harvest, but basically prolong their lives to try to create the huge caches of fossil fuel. And they take some, these guys back in mechs, which are your tankers, and they go back and test this all out, and they take out a bunch of dinosaurs. And then when they go back to Earth, who go figure, butterfly effect happens, and dinosaurs are the predominant species on the face of the Earth, and they're not just like the ones they took out and back in time. These things are badass coming at them, and it was a way fun read. I totally geeked out on it. The artwork is phenomenal, and I was just surprised by the book, so it was really good.
Hey, Robbie, did you just speed bag the duck?
Yeah, man.
Lee D, thank you so much for the $20 chalupa chat. That's a chalupa box for all 4 of us right there. Robbie might actually get a real chalupa.
I'm looking forward to it in September, bro.
So your pancake chalupa, whatever the hell that was.
I'm gonna get a real chalupa in September.
Why are we not eating chalupas on this show? We should have got together and
we should be getting sponsored by T.
That's a great idea.
There you go.
Did you like Tankers better than ENIAC? I don't know if you read ENIAC. I didn't get to read either, but I was just wondering if
ENIAC 2 was really good. As a matter of fact, I think I liked it better than the first issue, and the first issue was really good.
Yeah.
So they're putting out some quality stuff there. They really are. And again, like I said, I'm not too hot on the whole model, and I wasn't going to be ordering them, but their books are damn good, guys.
Yeah, they got a new one next week, the whale one about getting swallowed by a whale, and there's like a village inside the whale's body or something like that. So, but it's like a $10 book. I don't know if anyone noticed that. I think it's like $9.99.
Wow.
But I think it's a one shot. It might be a one shot. So
cool.
Well, thank you, Robbie, for doing the hitting the duck for me.
I told you I'd be the best one you ever had, the best duck slapper.
And thank you again, Lee D, for the $20 chalupa chat. It goes a long way. Dylan, guess what, buddy?
Yeah,
you got a book of the month that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, there's a lot of good books. One I really liked was Stray Dogs 3. I thought this issue really ramped it up. I mean, especially that ending scene, which, I'm a huge dog lover, so it kind of has mixed emotions for me, but I can handle it. It's only a comic, but I thought that this book is just, it shouldn't work. As there's like a quote on the back from Zack Snyder basically saying that, like, this book, it's Disney meets Psycho. It's like elements that should not work together, but it's just great storytelling. And I've really been digging it, man. I think the artwork is really good. And of course, man, I mean, spoilers, but dude, my man Victor, bro, like, as soon as I was like really digging Victor, man, I'm like, he's the coolest of them, all the dogs, man. And then out, no more Victor. Like, God, they got me on that one. I tell you, I swear to God, like, I was literally like, man, I was like, Victor, man, he's so cool, bro. I was like, he's my favorite. And then boom, like, I swear to God, like, just the way I was like, I had to go back and read like the panel. I'm like, say it ain't so, man. But it's I'm loving these horror homage covers, and it's just been a fun one, man. The artwork, I mean, it kind of brings me back to like a freaking Disney animated movie, but with that horror element to it. It really kind of throws that thorn in the side, because it makes you kind of, if you're an animal lover, you really kind of dig on it, But I don't know if any of y'all been reading it.
I can't do it. I'm a cat guy. If I brought that book home, man, my nipples would get all upset.
Don't worry, it's got some dog death in there, so maybe Nibbles will be cool with that.
They got it. Next one's gonna be Stray Cats.
Bruh, I really like that's copyrighted, I'm sure. I really like Stray Dogs. I think it's a really good book. And it's like, like All Dogs Go to Heaven meets like Seven, like a psychological thriller. It's basically this dude's like a serial killer, and everybody that he kills like if they have a dog, he takes their dog. And so dogs have these like short memories, and then like something will trigger the memory in one of them. And then they're like, oh no, the master takes care of us. He's like, no, the master, something's up. And so in this one, they're like, they start digging up the bodies, and it gets really, really freaking crazy. So I really like it. And it's the artwork is done in that very Don Bluth style. And I like it. You're right. It's something that shouldn't work, but it does. And I do love the, I don't want to ship to Chalupa. I do love the, but I do love.
Oh, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough.
Well, I'm in the middle of talking right now. Hold on. So, like, I do love the homage covers. On this one, I was a bit disappointed because it's Annabelle. And I was like, yo, you do Pet Sematary. And then you do, what was the second one? It was, the first one was Silence of the Lambs, then Pet Sematary. And then I was like, and then you do Annabelle. And so I said that in my video. And then Tony Fleece, the writer of the book, commented. And he goes, the guy that does the Annabelle movies is my homie. Oh, and I was like, oh, so I messaged him on Twitter, and I was like, yo, bro, I wasn't trying to like throw shade. I just never saw him, He's like, oh, no, it's okay. I get it. It was funny. He's like, if you want the Poltergeist one, I'll send it to you. And now he's going to be on the show May 20th. So I thought that was cool. You talk shit about a dude's friend, and he winds up on the show.
and you get a Poltergeist cover, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But
it's a good book.
The next one's Demons. So
yeah, I'm pumped for that one.
Yeah. And they got Friday the 13th one, so that's gonna be
slapping that duck, man. You are nice. There, Lee D, thank you for shipping so Robbie can experience an actual chalupa. That's awesome. I'm gonna ship you a chalupa. It's in the mail.
I'm gonna ship you an Alabama pancake,
otherwise known as Alabama chalupa. Very cool. I didn't get on that Stray. We've talked about that Stray Dogs before. I think we talked about last month and the month before. I looked at the first, it didn't interest me really. I don't know if maybe it was the artwork itself, because the comparisons like Disney type artwork and stuff, because that's really what it is. It just didn't leap off the page for me at all, but I've heard a lot of people really like that book. I mean, it's on a lot of people's top 10 list right now as far as current books that are out there. So
yeah, it gets better each issue.
There's like a movie deal, so it's also a book worth picking up because of that, especially because they do some really cool exclusive covers. Like if you like horror movies, there's like a Blair Witch homage cover that I want. Like there's some really cool ones out there.
Damn, I didn't know they did a Blair Witch. I know they had a Carrie one.
Yeah. See, those really cool ones. And then I'm like, Annabelle?
Well, the Deceased did the same thing, and that was a lot better book.
But you haven't read this one.
Well, it's true.
Totally different.
And this one's got cute little dogs in it.
Yeah. And the last series, they really those covers were pretty weak. They weren't horror homages.
Yeah, they were. They ran out of horror movie ideas, and I'm like, are you serious? You're gonna homage Suicide Squad?
Yeah. Right.
Whatever.
Ridiculous.
All right. Any more on the Stray Dogs?
No, I read the first issue. I did not get the second issue. I've since been able to get it. I have the third issue. I'm just waiting for it to get done, and then I'll probably go back and read it all. But I really, really enjoyed that first issue. So,
Comic Book Therapy says, is the Alabama pancake a product of soft clapping? That's pretty funny. We got 115 people watching, by the way. So thank you, everyone who's here tonight watching our monthly show. This is we really look forward to doing this. But let me show you one of my favorite books of the month.
Please do.
And I think we all kind of enjoyed this, and there's been some people talking about in the chat, but Geiger, #1 by none other than Image Comics. Look at that. There's all sorts of different covers for this great book. This one surprised me how much I enjoyed this, to be honest. I didn't have really any expectations, and they kind of have another book going on Aftershock has Nuclear Family, so there's a couple different nuclear explosion books going on right now. But Geiger it's a superhero book. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's their origin story of a how this person becomes known as Geiger, and he's basically a superhero now. He's absorbed the rays from, radiation and everything from a nuclear war, and now it's in the future, and he's out there doing this thing, across the land, and doing good deeds or stuff or whatever. So I like it. I like that Image is kind of jumping into the foray of putting out more superhero books, because they got this one, and they got Noctera, which a lot of people were talking about Noctera in the chat. We'll probably get to that a little bit later. But really, I was very surprised. I really love this cover too. I love the old style, the homage,
It's Larson.
to old Marvel books and stuff, and I thought the artwork in here was right on par with the character. I thought there was a lot of similarities to like the Bruce Banner, how he gets his the gamma rays. He just substitute gamma rays with the nuclear bomb or whatever. That's pretty much what it is. And but we're just now learning about the character, so there's much more to go. This is just the introduction in this issue. Hopefully with 2 and 3 and 4, you'll get to know the character a lot more and what he can do and his different powers, because they're just scratch the surface. So, but I liked it. I thought it was really good. What's your guys' thoughts? We'll start with we'll go with Dylan. How about that?
This one I actually was gonna pass up, to be honest, and well, I was gonna grab the first, because I've been trying to at least grab the first issue to see what I think, and my shop ran out, so I didn't get it, and I was like, oh, whatever, and because I'm a big Jeff Johns guy, but then the next week they did the glow, they keep doing these glow in the dark covers the week after, so luckily my shop had one left, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna snag it up. And I was really glad I did, because it is a really cool book. And like you said, it's kind of, a new take on a new superhero. And it's kind of cool how these guys are, in their radioactive suits, sitting by a campfire, basically kind of telling this like ghost myth story, about the radioactive man. And man, that second print was cool. I had it in my hands too this week, and I ended up passing on it. But because I thought this glow-in-the-dark cover was fine enough, but it is a really good story, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I kind of got more that he's kind of like the vigilante, he's like a vigilante, but
it is the wasteland, so I mean, there's no really laws in place.
Yeah,
now.
What I kind of feel like he's a hero, but he's kind of like he's in between, you know what I'm saying? Like where he's kind of in the middle, where I don't know. We got to see where it keeps going. But one thing I really did dig is at the end when they kind of got that like King Arthur shit going on with, they got the king that they're reporting back to.
Yeah.
Which you find out there, they got the kingdom in Las Vegas, which kind of reminds me of like The Stand, when.
Oh, come on. I was hoping something else.
What's his name? I can't think. What's the freaking evil guy's name?
Randall Flagg.
Randall Flagg, yeah. When he's kind of running Las Vegas, and that's like his kingdom. So I'm looking forward to the next one. They already titled it The King and I. So I think, this apocalyptic world with, a superhero, and this guy is pretty damn badass. I mean. Yeah. I thought that it might be something where he like starts glowing at night, but it's like, dude, this dude just straight charges up like on the spot. And it's like these guys start running for the hills. You know what I mean? Like they think that it's all BS. So like, man, he's like, that ain't him. It's like he ain't 15 feet tall, like because they got all them urban legends that everyone's talking about. But it was a fun one, man. Great artwork. And then Geiger's got his two-headed black wolf friend, which I didn't even notice. I was like, is there two dogs? I'm like, no way, that's a fucking two-headed dog or two-headed wolf. But it's a fun one, man. And there's gonna be some conflict between Geiger and this, wannabe king that has so much to prove that he's better and more worthy than his father ever was. So it's going to be interesting to see, because this guy is, half cocked and ready to go, and it's going to be fun to see him get his head kicked in. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm really glad I ended up being able to snag a copy.
Hey, Bob, I know that you and I talked about this book, and Dylan mentioned a part of it about Las Vegas. What does that remind you of?
Fallout, buddy.
Fallout, man.
Yeah, right.
If
What's
anyone's
a
played
Fallout?
Fallout New Vegas, it's literally it's basically what this book is almost. I mean, maybe Geiger is the what do they call him, the carrier or whatever, or he delivers the message or whatever. I can't remember, but anyway, they have that Roman thing in Fallout in New Vegas, and they literally almost to the T use the same type thing in this book. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. They obviously are Fallout fans. The people who wrote or put Jeff Johns, they probably played that game and put that together. But Bob, you like this book. What was your thoughts?
The thing about Geiger is that we get nothing new inside of this book. I mean, these are all tropes that we've seen before. We got something that's post-apocalyptic. You got somebody who survived something that he shouldn't have and gained powers as a result. And he's he's a one man standing against the world. We've seen all that before. We've even seen, just like you said, at the end when you get this kingdom sitting there inside of Vegas, and you got the kid who's basically through an event killing his dad becomes king, and now he wants to make a name for himself, and everybody bow down to him if he can go kill this Geiger. And so these are all new. I mean, these are all things that we've seen before in other books. But I got to tell you, I had so much fun reading this. I thought it was really well put together. I mean, from beginning to end, I had a smile on my face the whole time, even though it was familiar as all get out. I absolutely loved it, and I really can't wait for issue 2. I love Jeff Johns' writing. The only thing I didn't like about it, I thought the artwork. I wish Jason Fabok could have been doing the artwork on this. There's something about the inking that I didn't like. I don't know. Just that's a personal opinion, but it just didn't grab me. Other than that, absolutely loved it.
Nice. Now, Robbie, you didn't like this book, did you?
No, I did like it. It just wasn't my favorite book that week.
Oh yeah. You like that one that didn't have any words in it.
What was that?
No, this was the week Silver Coin came out, young man.
Oh yeah, Silver Coin.
Okay.
That's right, man.
Yeah. Anyway, I loved Geiger. I thought it was fun. This is a natural progression of Fallout, if you will, I think, of Gary and Jeff's work on Doomsday Clock, which I still haven't read. And kill the anyway, all right. It's like Jeff, when he started doing Doomsday Clock, he had to kind of stretch a little bit as a writer to kind of mimic what Alan Moore did with the complexity and density of the narrative in Watchmen. Now, I'm not saying Doomsday Clock did that, but it was much more of a dense and complex story for Jeff Johns, right? I get that in here. There's a lot of information that's given to us in a lot of really interesting ways that are very reminiscent of Watchmen, of Doomsday Clock, right? Gary Frank's artwork, I loved. I think this cat's artwork's just getting better and better. I really liked the way that he finished the work, the inking. I thought it was really sturdy. I love that you can see he's learned a lot from really studying Dave Gibbons. I mean, think about how much Dave Gibbons got studied by Gary Frank when he was doing Doomsday Clock, right? But he's doing the same thing where he can really break up things in smaller moments, but with less dialogue, which is what Johns is doing, but still have these big moments. He's doing things with the structure, but not confining himself to the 9-panel grid, still confining himself to the grid, but kind of playing with it, kind of like Fornes is doing on Rorschach. But that being said, I loved it. And it's nice. Image has always tried here and there to bring superheroes back into it. I mean, they started with superheroes, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's their strength anymore. And I think they understand that, but they've always tried, but it always seemed like the interest wasn't there. But now it seems, especially with this influx of people back into the industry after being out for 20 or 30 years, they're coming back to Image and they are looking for superheroes. And we're getting some pretty cool stuff. Geiger's one of them. Fantastic book. And yeah, I love this new trend of glow in the dark covers coming back. Like this, when it glows in the dark, it's his like skull face and everything. And it's like super dope.
It's dope.
You can't
That's
read
why I
it.
kind of wanted that second print.
I want to obviously point out Lee D with another $20 super chat. says, last one for the night. I want to chip in for the next Chalupa Canto reading party. Time to prep for dinner. Thank you, Lee D. Let's just say next time that we do our monthly review, we all dedicate a taco or a chalupa. And we should be eating something next time, all right? I don't know whose month it is next month, but chalupa's all around. We'll eat one for Lee D or something like that.
Nice.
Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that quite a bit. Let's see. Let's move on to the next round. But this one is a theme round. Let's go with the DC book because none of us have hit a DC book yet. And Bob, we'll have you go first this round.
Yeah, there were a couple that stood out to me this month. Let's go with Nightwing number 79. Really enjoying what Tom Taylor's doing on this book. I really love the that he's taking his time with the character, kind of fleshing out some things. It feels like we have our Dick Grayson back again. It really does. And I'm really, he hasn't really fleshed out any true villains yet that he's going up against. I guess the Heartless guy, I guess is
Heartless
or
whatever,
right? And but I really loved everything inside of this book. As he's talking with Barbara, and talking about what's going on inside of his life. I enjoyed the artwork. I just love what he's doing with the writing on this. And last month was great too. And I've been wanting to enjoy Nightwing for a long time, and I'm loving this.
I couldn't agree more, man. I was actually gonna pick this even before you said DC, but I'm glad you picked this one, Bob, because it's nice to see a good Nightwing book for once. You know what I mean? It's been a while, and I've always been a big fan of Dick Grayson, and now Dick Grayson is rich. So Dick Grayson is rich, and Batman's not. So that's kind of a funny thing that's going on, but. And it's kind of cool to see that, Dick Grayson really wants to put his money to a wise use, and he doesn't want to just, just kind of, waste it or whatever, but he wants to do some good with it, and as soon as that guy and his kid walk up, I'm like, oh man, some guy's trying to scheme, but you really end up feeling for this father and his son, I in the back of my head, I was like, man, there's some motive they got behind, but they were really just, they were just a father and son down on their luck, struggling. And Dick decides to, buy everybody in the neighborhood pizza. And it was really sad to see where it kind of ended with that father. But I think that this Heartless guy could be a pretty cool villain, honestly, because it has that kind of horror aspect where he's literally ripping dudes' hearts out, you know what I mean? And it's like you said, I like the artwork, and Tom Taylor, man, is just on fire.
You mentioned the pizza. You have to mention the one thing that was the best part about that pizza, and that pizza stand was named Marvin George's, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah, man, it's a great issue, and then you kind of get him and Barbara kind of going, kind of hanging out and just, kind of shooting the shit, getting pizza together, hanging out, not as, Nightwing and Batgirl, because she kind of has to kind of pull the reins back after Joker work, because she has that experimental technology and her holding her back together or whatever. But I'm really digging it, man, and it's good to see Tom Taylor, man, just, really bringing this character back to the forefront and where he deserves, I mean, I really am excited to see where this is gonna go. I honestly wish it was like a what is that, bi-monthly, where we get 2 issues a month, because I think it's only 1 issue a month, because I'm just really digging it,
Yeah, I love the bit with him losing the wallet.
Real quick, I want to jump in here.
That was so funny. This is
kind of a off-topic really fast, but I just noticed Alfred Page is in the chat. And in case you guys are wondering, in case any of you guys bought my exclusive cover, Blowtorch, Alfred Page is the writer of this book. and he is in the chat right now. So for all you guys that got a copy of Blowtorch, that is the writer. He's hanging out with us tonight, so I appreciate that, Alfred Page. Very cool guy. Talked to him many times on the phone. Met him in person. He's taller than I am. That's pretty cool. But anyway, so I just wanted to break that up real quick and just say hello to him. So if anyone in the chat who purchased the book would like to say hello to Alfred, there he is. And also Two Brothers Comics. Look at that, making Robbie work tonight. He's cutting the gun. All right, that's enough of that. Appreciate that, Two Brothers Comics. So
Nightwing's great, by the way. Nightwing's great.
I'm not on Nightwing. I never have. I don't think I've ever bought an issue of Nightwing before, but I did buy this week, and I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, I wanted to buy this, and I bought it strictly on the writer. I was missing a Joshua Williamson book because he wrote our Flash books for quite some time until I think he ended Flash on, I think, like 89 or 90 or something like that. So I wanted a new book by him, and this one came out this week. And not knowing too much about this character, to be totally honest, because I just never got into them that much to be real. But I enjoyed this book. I thought it was good. I thought the artwork was fantastic. It's a Mortal Kombat. Is that what it is? Is it really Mortal Kombat?
It's straight up Mortal Kombat with Damian Wayne, right? Straight up.
And I mean, something happens at the end. I actually don't want to spoil it because this did just come out yesterday. But
let's just say it has fatalities.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Let's just say that.
Heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. Oh, Bob got that.
I understood that reference.
But anyway, I fully enjoyed it. I mean, Robin wants to be the best fighter in the DC universe, and that's what he's in this book to do. And it's really funny because there's like a point when he gets to this island and he's like, "Stop talking, let's start fighting," and that's all he wants. He doesn't want to hear the rules. He doesn't care. He just wants. He's like, "Who's next? I could care less. I'm the best fighter there is. My grandfather." Ra's al Ghul, my mother, all that stuff. He's like, let's fight. And he's like, I don't care what the rules are. Let's just do it. But anyway, I fully enjoyed this book. This is my DC pick of the month, to be totally honest. And I want to share that. So any thoughts on this book from anyone?
I thought it was great. I mean, Joshua Williamson is able to write Damian and not be obnoxious. To me, Damian's voice only rings true for me, the truest, with Grant Morrison and Peter Tomasi, and so many writers write him as just very one-dimensional. And there's something going on here. This is Damian. He's kind of rejecting his father. He's rejecting his mother. He's rejecting his friends with the Teen Titans. He's trying to go on his own. But like Damian always does, he still has to follow in the footsteps of his father. And that's what he's trying to do. He's like traveling the world, doing all this stuff. He finds out about this tournament. It's Damian in Mortal Kombat, 100%. And yes, He is cocky and full of it. And he learns his lesson very quickly. But I loved it. I thought it was great. And I think that the new costume looks great. I liked the art. It had a very manga feel to it. So it had a nice flow to it. I really enjoyed it.
No. Bob, did you read it?
I haven't read all of it yet. That was the last comic that I was reading just before the show started. Again, I didn't get my comics till today, so I'm behind in some of my reading. But me, I love Joshua Williamson, and I was digging what I was reading so far, but I didn't get to finish it.
What about you, Dylan?
I did not get this one. I actually really wanted to because of Joshua Williamson, but I've been trying to kind of cut back with a couple titles here and there, but I kind of wish I did get it, honestly, now that I hear the Mortal Kombat. So I might have to have my LCS pull a copy, but yeah, I'm a big Joshua Williamson fan, but I kind of picked Nightwing over Robin because that's my kind of always been more my Robin, to be honest, is Dick Grayson, but I definitely will have to check it out.
Now, is there some setup, Robbie? Is there a setup to this book in other books? I heard that there was.
Yeah, there was a backup story in the March issues of Batman and Detective Comics that led into this. I'm sure it'd be collected for the trade.
Nice.
And it was by the exact same team, Williamson and Gleb making off or whatever it is. But it's cool. And I like Nightwing too. 2 issues in a Nightwing, y'all, and it feels like we're at the start of what can be considered a classic run. It feels a lot like Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run, and it also makes me wonder, how does Tim Drake and Damian and Jason feel about Dick getting Alfred's money? You know? What about the rest of us?
Robbie, did you have a DC pick?
Yeah, I do actually, and it was a shocker for me. First of all, honorable mention to Joker number 2. Really like that one. But Action Comics 1030.
Really?
Oh, like I freaking loved this book. Are you serious? Like
Things are changing because I thought I'd never hear Robbie say something like that.
I thought he was going to say Swamp Thing.
Oh shit! I forgot. I forget Swamp Thing's DC all the time because I consider it Vertigo. Yeah, Swamp Thing's right there. We'll talk about that later. Don't worry about that. But I do want to spotlight Action Comics because I am a huge Superman fan. I grew up and I cut my comic book teeth on John Byrne's Superman. Okay, so I was there for the Death and the Return and the Electric Blue. Electric Boogaloo Superman. I was there for all of that, right? And I loved it. I always read Superman books. And Peter Tomasi and Dan Jurgens in Rebirth were doing a great job. Then they brought in Bendis, and you know how I feel about that. Philip Kennedy Johnson had a little bit of a slow start building up, but this right here, which is his first full-on issue of action that doesn't tie into Superman, this was amazing. Everything I want about a Superman story. Great world building. That's something Philip Kennedy Johnson does. He does that in that book, The Last God, which is kind of like a fantasy thing, right? This book blew me away. So first of all, the artwork is majestic. So it's Daniel, I think. Yeah, Daniel Sam Perry. Dude, first of all, and it's got Mongol, a great threat. Superman has some of the best villains in DC, and everybody acts like he doesn't. Mongol's one of them, but they always play him up goofy, okay? He's not played up goofy here. He's badass. He's badass. He's threatening.
But I read it in the shop.
Yeah, it's got a nice sci-fi tinge, but I've been preaching this my entire life. When you do a Superman book, you got to make it look big. You got to have great perspective. Look at the way Superman pops, even though there's some really intricate work being done with the composition on that page, with the flow of the energy. It's big. It's bombastic, but it also has the character right. It's got these interactions with Batman, just perfect. Everything is great about this book. I was so engrossed in this. You even have a nice conversation between Jonathan and Damian, and it works. This was such a powerful issue for me, and it feels like Superman is finally back to where he should be, an artist and a writer that really understand that he's this bigger-than-life figure, but still the most human of all of us.
Nice.
Anybody else read? The backup story is garbage. I hate that we have to pay $1 more for that. Just wait on the trade then. But still, pretty good.
That's why I didn't get it.
Dope as hell.
I read it in the shop, man. It was great, dude. The artwork is phenomenal.
It's so great.
So bombastic, like you said. It's just big, great splash pages, great coloring in it that makes it really pop. And Mongol looks like a real big threat. I'm not really familiar with Mongol, so when I saw him, I'm like, dude, this dude looks like fucking Darkseid. You know what I'm saying? Sorry for the F-bomb, Bueller. I forget if I'm allowed to say that on this channel. I literally was holding it in my hands for like 10, 20 minutes because I was debating on buying it or not. But it's like they're charging the extra money, and I wish that it would just be the regular price because nobody cares about the backstory, unless you're reading Justice League for
one thing. Allegedly, the backup story, because it's a Midnighter backup story, allegedly that's building up a little bit into the upcoming Grant Morrison, Mikkel Hannen, Superman and the Authority. But knowing how Grant works, you're not going to have to read it. Right. Grant just wants things set up for them in a particular way before they take over a book, basically.
Did anyone else want to talk about it, or could I speak on my DC book then?
Go for it, Dylan.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Bueller.
You're welcome, Dylan.
I didn't know why. I didn't think you guys didn't say that, so I didn't think you guys read it.
Go for it.
All right. So I guess another Tom Taylor book, Batman the Detective, which, I've been waiting for Tom Taylor to get a freaking Batman book. and now we get it, and it's Batman in London, I guess, and I didn't know what the heck was going on with those like white Batman, but I thought this was bringing it back to the roots of Batman, where it's a detective story. You know what I mean? Basically, that's what I love about detective comics. But I'm actually behind on detective. I got to read the last 2 Tamaki issues, but I've seen the artwork and it's freaking incredible. But I had to pick this up, especially because anything Batman, I usually always jump on because he's my favorite DC character. Probably, I mean, he's definitely one of my all-time favorite just superheroes. He's, like top 2, him and a Marvel character, I'd say. But I thought this was great, man. I mean, it's more of an older, broken down Bruce Wayne, and he's leaving leaving Gotham, and he's leaving the Wayne mansion basically seems like he's not coming back, and he's just kind of going out into the world, and he wants to do something out in the whole world. But it was cool to see the artwork in this. I was trying to think because it's been a while since I read this, but who was that character in this? What was her name? She ends up meeting up. Well, Squire meets up with this character Squire, who I'm actually not really familiar with, but I thought it was pretty cool, and I'm interested to see where it goes. And let me see. I can't remember who the frick these guys were. So it's been like, this came out at the beginning of the month, but I thought
I enjoyed it. I think that book is like you said, it's more of a detective, and I think it's kind of a throwback to Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
that's kind of what they're going to go for this little series. It's a 6-issue series. It's based in London or whatnot. And he's pretty much going over there because of a murder or something of one of his friends or something like that.
Yeah,
and that's why he's over there. But I think it's going to be more of a traditional, because that's who Batman is based after is Sherlock Holmes,
right?
And so, I mean, I think that's kind of what they're going to go for on this. And I like it because it's, we've all probably read Gotham by Gaslight and stuff like that, and this has a little bit of that feel to it, but this is obviously in modern time and stuff, so it's updated. But I like the Gaslight one, so I like this.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, he's freaking falling out of a window, or, just going head first out of a window, fighting these dudes, and then he comes up and he's all, he's beaten down, man. He can't do what he used to do. So it's kind of cool to see, just an older Bruce Wayne, because all the stories we got going on, is just the regular, what was it, the Batman story and then detective. But this is a little bit more that, like, Gotham by Gaslight, Mark Millar kind of styled Batman. I'm just excited to see the detective aspect, because that is what always draws me into the Batman, is the detective Sherlock Holmes style, and I always just love a good detective mystery, So I'm interested to see where it goes. It threw me off a little bit with him leaving Gotham and going to London, but I think that's going to be kind of the charm of it, that it's different, and with it being in London, that's like perfect, because that's Sherlock Holmes and everything, so kind of the root of all that.
Robbie, what do you think of this one?
I really liked it. I mean, Tom Taylor's been doing a great job with everything that he's been on, and this is no exception. I like the Elseworlds feel. I like the globe-trotting aspect of Batman. That's something that's part of his history. I like that it's about an older Bruce who's kind of given up and realized that he's never going to fix Gotham.
Yeah.
And he's kind of tired of it. And he just wants to go and do his, do other things. And, they reference the Knight and Squire, and they throw out new versions of Squire. And I really liked it. And it was really nice seeing Andy Kubert back on the book, because I just always loved him and his brother's work. And it's so cool to see Andy back on Batman and Adam back on Wolverine. That's just so freaking cool to me. So it scratches my high school itch.
Very cool.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, we've lost Bob. Unfortunately, Bob is not feeling very good. He just messaged me or whatnot. He had too many bad burritos last night, and it's finally caught up to him. So unfortunately, he's not going to be with us the rest of the show. But seriously, he got his second COVID shot, and it's kind of taking a toll on him. I heard the second shot sometimes does it to people, and so he's a little under the weather because of that. So Bob is down for the count tonight. Hopefully you get some rest, buddy, and he'll probably be joining me in a couple days on filming the coffee video. But for right now, Bob's going to relax and get some sleep and probably watch some Smurfs or something like that, whatever he does on his spare time. But so anyway, it's just us three.
For sure. Station, Bob, and I hope you feel better, buddy.
Yeah, Bob's a good dude. Bob's a really good dude. Robbie, let's go with you. Go ahead and give us another one of your picks for this month.
My second favorite book of the month, after Picture of Everything Else, is The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. And that's my cover of the month because it's a beautiful cover by David Mack, and it's foil. How freaking cool is that? This book is awesome. It's written by Ram V, artwork by Philippe Andrade. Love this book. So it's about death in the Hindu pantheon. Death gets fired from her job, right? She shows up from work and the boss is like, you know what? We're going to let you go. We're downsizing. Plus there's this prophecy about this kid. He's going to be born. It's going to end death. So, and it's done in a very corporate like way, which I think is a really cool reflection. You see that like they're going to like these corporate offices or whatnot. I love the artwork. It's got a nice whimsical effect to it. And it's a really cool interpretation on the Hindu pantheon into like a more modern age type thing. So death gets fired because of this kid who's born. Meanwhile, there's this woman on Earth, and she like leaps or gets pushed from a building. She dies, and then death comes back. She gets reincarnated into this body. So death gets fired, but she gets to live a human life. And she's going to spend that human life trying to murder this child that's ending death, right? But it's really great. Ram V is such an amazing writer. He knows how to break down a story. He knows how to tell it. But what he's doing here is something I haven't seen him do much in his work, which is be a little bit more whimsical, be a little bit more charming with it. This book is very funny. It's got a nice light touch to it, even though I'm sure this book will get a bit deep because Ram, I don't think, can help but write a deep story. Hell, he's doing it with Catwoman. But The Many Deaths of Layla Starr was a great setup to what is going to be a fantastic 5-issue series. I love the artwork. Like I said, it's got a great, it's got a great, like kind and loose style to it that really helps accentuate the tone, that whimsical tone of the book. I freaking loved it. It's a great, different kind of book for Ram V, but just so powerful. Like I said, cover of the month, one of the books of the month, and just fantastic. I loved it. And it was incredibly funny. A great, delightful experience.
I got to say, I picked it up, and the main reason I picked it up is because of this person right here, Comics Will Break Your Heart. Jennifer did an early review on it. I think she actually had an advanced copy of it, and they were talking about it on her show. I already had a digital copy of it, but I hadn't checked it out yet. And then, like, as soon as she was talking about it with her, and I think her co-host Mars, if I'm not mistaken, kind of really sold me on the book. So I want to give her a little shout out right there, and I'm a fan of Ram V as well. But I definitely enjoyed it, and the premise was interesting. I mean, just the premise alone sold me on the book, and some books can do that, you know, when you hear the premise and it's an original thought or whatnot, you know, and just kind of you want to see where it goes. When I look at the book, when I saw the cover, not this cover, the shiny cover showed me, of course, but the regular cover, I was kind of put off by it. It really didn't do much for me, you know. But the shiny cover, you know, obviously that kind of checks my box right there. So I had to get that for sure. But it's fantastic. I thought it was great. Ram V, I mean, what did you say last week? He had like 5 titles last week or something like that. Just crazy amounts of stories.
Oh, yeah, because he had he was in the Carnage book. He had Catwoman. He was in a bunch of stuff.
The range that this guy can hit is just amazing. You know, Swamp Thing, Catwoman. You know, he's doing the short stories. He's doing this one. He's got another one that he's working on. Just a ton of stuff. And they're all really knocking them out of the park. There wasn't a bad Ram V story this month, you know, out of all the stuff he did. And if you're not on this book, it's worth picking up. And it's got the shiny cover because Boom's doing that now. So,
and I'm so glad. I'm so glad they are.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. Dylan, what do you think?
I did not get this one, sadly. My shop didn't even get any, and I was an idiot and didn't put it on my poll.
I know.
I should have had it on my poll just for Ram V, and You know, I've been trying to. I read the synopsis and it just didn't really catch me. But synopsis I'm so bad with reading synopsis is they never like really catch me. So I really just kind of have to go for it, you know. And I should have with it being Rom V. So I'm disappointed and ashamed to say I don't have that one.
You know, your shame is shining.
I love, by the way, that we're complaining about paying an extra $1 for 8 pages of story we don't want, but we will gladly pay an extra $1 for a shiny cover. So DC, listen.
I do fold when it comes to a shiny cover. I will probably pull the trigger. That's my crutch, man. What am I going to do, right?
Right.
Anyway, I think me and Robbie both agree, along with a bunch of people in the chat, that this was really good. Great story by Boom. You know, and with Boom's main title being on the sidelines for the last few months, Something is Killing the Children, it was nice to get this one coming out, and obviously Berserker as well. But let's go ahead and go to Dylan. Dylan, you got another pick for us?
I do. I was going to talk. I'm going to hold this Marvel title that I got for a little bit later because I cannot forget to mention this because this just came out yesterday. And my, oh my, was this issue nuts. As Dickie Roberts would say, it was knucking futz. I breathed the body before. Oh, man. This was a great issue, man, as every issue has been. It's like really ramping up. The artwork is just so good in this. I feel like the artwork in this might even be, or at least the coloring is like top notch, probably the best the coloring has been. It's just a little bit more elevated, I feel, in this issue. And this has been one of the wildest books I've ever read. I mean, this is the guy who gave us The Lonely Receiver.
Yeah.
And
Replacer. Have you read The Replacer?
No, I have not.
You got to get a copy of The Replacer. It's a graphic novel, like one-shot comic that Zach Thompson did. It's amazing. Really great horror story.
But you know, all this that's going on with like the social media and them live streaming the death of this dude and then basically like ripping him apart and then doing all this freaking out of the world stuff that is so disgusting and despising, and getting kids to basically like follow their lead and want to commit suicide in the name of this star that they idolize. And it just has so many levels of storytelling going for this. And I've just never read anything like it. And it's one of my favorite books of 2021, no doubt. It's got like that sci-fi. It's got the technology going for it. It's got horror. At first we were, you know, me and Robbie were saying this is like Hellraiser meets, you know, like the social media, which I still agree, but there's just something going on. And then by the end of this, it really goes for that Hellraiser vibe, because now they're kind of opening up the Leviathan world, as you'd say in the Hellraiser world. But man, like one more issue, I don't know how it's going to conclude. Like, I feel like the next issue should be like a little oversized because it's about to ramp up and get for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was such a good issue. And it's one that really makes you think. And it's one that I'm really looking forward to once issue 5 comes out next month, so that I can reread it all in one shot. Because it's one that you're just not going to pick up everything in one sitting. I mean, Robbie was pointing out things to me after I read like issue 1 for two times, because I mean, when he's got that necklace on and it literally rips his face off, and you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much going on in this book, and I can't even like fathom to speak on it. Like, when I'm like at a loss of words just trying to like explain it to you guys, because it's nuts.
Well, Robbie couldn't even understand it.
No, this book was challenging as hell. This was the most challenging issue of a Zach Thompson comic I've ever read. There were a lot of ideas and a lot of stuff was going on, and it was still so fascinating. And the book is and this is something Zach's been doing in his work, is he's talking about the relationship between our society and technology and how dependent we are. And in this one in particular, the social media influencer. and not us, comic jocks or whatever, but like, the people that with millions of subscribers that just could literally get people to do the most crazy things in their name. And it's touching on that. And it does feel very Clive Barker, right? It's getting into this fungal horror aspect, which is so just bonkers. The book is wild. The artwork is great. Triona Farrell's the colorist. Amazing job there. Andy McDonald. Holy cow. This book blows me away. Hassan Osman El How, I believe, is the letterer. Really good job there, too. Yeah. This book is, as Bueller would say, gross, but it's also an incredibly powerful exploration on the effects of technology on humans and how that changes and how it's starting to change us. Same thing like Lonely Receiver. That was about technology and our relationship to it and how it affects our relationship to other people and how that affects our relationship to ourselves. This book's kind of picking up on that same theme, but in a different way. And I really hope we get a third piece to make just a complete thematic trilogy by Zach Thompson. Yeah. But I'm loving the hell out of this book. But this book was like, if issues 1, 2, or 3 confused you in any kind of way, good luck with issue 4. Because this one was just freaking wild, man. Wild.
I'm glad you said that it kind of was a challenge for you too, because it makes me feel a little bit better about myself, because it is a challenge. But I like that it gives you a challenge, because so many of these, books that we read are just so straightforward. You know what I mean? And it's I
wanted to message Zach and be like, bruh, explain this mushroom shit one more time.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't know. You've seen that show Black Mirror? Comics Will Break Your Heart said that Zach Thomas is writing the current season of Black Mirror in comic books. Oh, I've
never even seen that. Oh, I think is she talking about this book? I think, as if this is a I don't know. Well, I've never watched Black Mirror. I need to. I've been wanting to.
It'd be cool though if he did write like an episode for Black Mirror.
Yeah, right. Bueller, did you keep up with I Breathe the Body? I know you've been picking them up. Have you been reading it?
I read the first two. And now that you told me I probably won't understand this one, I'm gonna have to have you read it to me. Explain it to me or something, But I read the first two on your recommendation, and I just like the premise of it, and so I'm sticking with it because I didn't get number 3. I've been having problems with my LCS just missing random issues in the middle, and like I had to go to. I said earlier, the Rogue Trader. I had a list of books that I missed, like issue 2, 3, or of like 5 different series, and he actually got them all for me. So I need to get caught up, and this was one of them. I didn't get issue 3, and I got that. And now I finally got number 4. But it's been really good. I enjoyed the first 2. You're right. Gross is the word I use to describe it, but I like it, and I like Zach Thompson as well. I think he's a great writer and stuff. But it's definitely. I did the first 2 issues. I was a little. I was confused in the first 2, to be totally honest. What was really going on. And I'm definitely going to struggle on this one. Kind of throw myself under the bus, but it is what it is.
Yeah, just read it slowly, man. I had to do that. I had to be like, I need to slow down. I was like reading it, because it's in a big stack of comics, and I'm reading it like I normally read. And I'm like, I need to slow the hell up on this one real quick because I'm getting lost.
But, excuse me. I do like it. I think it's a great series. I think Aftershock is killing it right now. I think Aftershock, for the most part, like every one of their titles is really hitting the mark right now this year. I think they're probably having like the best year of the different publishers right now.
They're the best year they've ever had for sure. Yeah. You got Shadow Doctor, you got Knock 'em Dead, which had a fantastic finale this month. So, and I think that was they. What else? They're doing other books. I'm just blanking. Oh, Nuclear Family's pretty interesting. Issue 3 didn't wow me as much as 1 and 2. I wanted more to happen, but Aftershock is doing some really good work. We Live was a big one that hit for them, obviously.
So speaking of Aftershock, I'm going to go ahead and go for it right now.
Do it.
Since you brought it up, Shadow Doctor number 3. I love this series. It's my favorite book right now. And this was great because I'll just tell you guys, like I was talking to a gentleman last night, and he's not a comic book guy. And I asked him, I said, when I say comic book, what do you think? He's like, oh, I don't know, Batman, Spider-Man. And that's the first thing that comes to his mind. And I go, let me tell you the story. I go, this is a story, a real life story about a man who, African-American, he goes and he goes to school in the 1920s, and he becomes a doctor. And then he goes to the city and he tries to get a job at a hospital. Nobody will hire him because he's black. The banks won't give him a loan because he's black. So he ends up becoming the doctor for the mob for Al Capone. He's like, oh, that sounds really good. I go, yeah, that's a comic book. He's like, no, it's not. I go, yeah, dude. I go, seriously, that's the type of comics that we can get right now. And that's what we're getting in this book. And I just think it's so neat that we have such a variety of books to choose from. Everything from I Breed the Body to something like this to, Geiger or something. In this book, it kind of takes place after issue 2 when there's a big explosion. And he kind of gets put to the test finally to see his skills as a doctor. And of course, Al Capone doesn't want to go to the hospital. And the whole issue is pretty much him arguing with Al Capone, saying, we need to take this guy to the hospital or he's going to die. I don't have the right tools and all this stuff, and the x-ray equipment, which I don't know what type of equipment they had way back then. It was kind of interesting that they had that conversation and stuff. But, eventually he says something to Al Capone, and Al Capone kind of folds or whatnot, but he compromises and he goes from there. And then he realizes, the main character realizes, he's well, I guess I'm now his doctor. I'm now Al Capone. I'm now the mob's doctor, and he's going to have to deal with that going forward, because to this point, it's kind of been a back and forth to where Al Capone's like, well, I'll just give you money. You can do it. And he hasn't really asked him to do anything until this issue. And that's kind of the place he is. So now he realizes that his whole years of training to be a doctor is going to be put, fixing criminals, going forward, and how he deals with that. That's what we'll probably see in the coming issues and stuff like that. So I absolutely love it. I don't know how long the series is, but man, it could be an ongoing series for 20 issues. I love it. So I think it's fantastic. True story about the writer's great-grandfather or grandfather. Is it great or great or great or grandfather?
I think it's great, but it may be great. It may just be grandfather, but I'm not sure. But It's generational.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a mouse feel because of that it's based on a true story that's passed down from father to son. And the way that they're in this issue in particular, boom, 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 boom. I'm running out of bits because I did I did the gun and the knife already. So just
anyway, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy.
Fatality. Anyway, so I really liked how in this one they were telling the story of him younger, and they were juxtapositioning that against the other one. And I love the moment when he steps up to Capone and he's like, I made an oath not to harm anyone, and if I operate on this dude, I'll kill him. It reminds me of the doctor from Deadwood, when he's like, I just can't do it, things like that. And also, that's the guy, by the way, the Deadwood doctor is the voice of Chucky, which I found out recently, which was interesting. But I really like it. And Georges Genti, who is a veteran in this industry, he's been doing Buffy books for like 20 years almost, right? This is some of the absolute best artwork I've ever seen from him. And I don't know what else Peter Calloway has done, but the scripting is impeccably pitch perfect paste.
This was a book that caught me from the first 4 pages of the first issue. The fact that it was a true story, the fact that they put me, on the bedside, because the story is being told from like the bedside of the grandfather who's dying.
Yeah.
This is his dying story. He hasn't shared this with his family at all these whole years, and he's finally telling his son, which would be the father, whatever. It's kind of confusing, but to hear all this stuff. And what was that? You said that they got to the point to where Al Capone kind of took a step back, and he's like, you said what you needed to say, and that was the right answer. To where he had a gun in his face. He's like, you just saved your life or something like that. It was really cool. It was like one of those moments to where
he had cojones, man. He had cojones.
Exactly. But Al Capone recognized that, and he recognized what he was saying, and he gave it weight, and it mattered to him, and he folded. And I thought that was really cool to see that side of this gangster who we all have known. He folded and realized, okay, this guy's a professional. He knows what he's doing, and he's right. It can't just be what I say all the time. So I thought that was a really great point in the book. So anyway, Dylan, did you get a chance to read this one, buddy?
I did not. No. I didn't even know about that one, to be honest. But I love Al Capone, so now I do really want to pick it up.
3 issues in, man. That's a good series. Aftershock. It's well worth it.
It was called what again?
Shadow Doctor.
Shadow Doctor.
Yep.
I'll have to check that out because I've always been a big Al Capone fan, like Untouchables and what was that other one that there was? I know Untouchables, but I'm trying to think of the other one that they did. Boardwalk Empire, maybe it was. I think that's it. Where Al Capone is one of the characters, a very young version of Al Capone. So always been I'd say there's that Al Capone with Tom Hardy, but that one is a little bit kind of messed up where he's an old Al Capone shitting himself.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh my God, it is a trip. It's not really the best movie, but it is something to see him. Like, it's wild, you know. Like I said, he's literally like dementia. He's like going through his dementia years, and he's like shitting himself, like legit. It's messed up. Like, it's something, man.
Awesome. Well, you're missing out. If anyone in the chat, check out this is my pick of the month, probably by far. It was last month. It's my favorite book going on. Let's go ahead and move on to the next round. I wanted you guys to show 2 titles each, okay? Because we're coming in the last half hour of the show, and we'll go ahead and start with Dylan. Dylan, pick a couple titles, show us what you got, and tell us about them.
Okay, I gotta show this one because I planned on it, but this is one that Bob wanted to really talk about as well, and that is a sleeper hit that's getting a lot of hype in the community on the spec. On the spec trade, which I'm not really into that, but Nottingham Number 2, which is from Mad Cave, and everybody knows I'm a big Mad Cave fan, and I'd say this is probably my favorite because out of the new titles that they've had, because they have Honor and Curse and I can't think of the other one, Knights of the Golden Sun, which those are already kind of established stories. They're on their volume 2, but this is a new story, and I thought this is probably my favorite one going on. Issue 1 was kind of in the middle for me. I thought it was good. It was promising, but I'm a big King Arthur fan, and Robin Hood and all that stuff. So this is right up my alley. So I could see how this is not for everyone, but this is more of that Robin Hood and story, but in the eyes of the sheriff that's tracking them all down, and this sheriff is kind of, old down and beaten, and he's trying to track who the hell Robin and his, what do they call that? Robin and his gang of crew or whatever. I can't.
The Merry Men.
The Merry Men. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you. Every time.
I thought you were a Robin Hood fan, young man.
I am, but I get nervous, and then I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. It'll be always on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, I think it's been a fun book. It's gritty, it's gory, and it's just a fun one, man. I think that it has promise to be really cool, and I think that the mask that Robin Hood is rocking is pretty damn creepy. And then it's like Robin Hood and his merry men are like a myth to some people, where this guy where they're interviewing all these people, and because this guy has been killed in the prison, and they're like, how the hell did they infiltrate the prison? You were on guard, and they're interviewing, interrogating all these guards and trying to figure out what happened. And the funny thing is, the guy that's sitting next to the sheriff interrogating these, officers, he's the one that's freaking was the reason why he's the dirty one, or he's the spy. And it's just, it's a cool one, man. It kind of has that detective story going on for it, where you're trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, I know who Robin Hood is, obviously, and I feel like if that's, I don't know if the writer is trying to hide that, but I don't think he is, because from like literally the first couple pages, I knew who Robin Hood was. But I thought it was really cool how they make like Robin Hood seem like this like urban legend, and then he like, he's like a ghost, and he runs into the freaking woods and he's gone. But that sheriff, man, I thought he was going to be a little bit tougher, man. And he ends up getting his butt kicked, man, by that spy that Robin Hood had kind of set in there for him, and ends up bouncing. But you could tell he was a little bit he was kind of not really trying to fight the sheriff, but the sheriff is one of those guys, man, where he ain't backing down, and he's a straight and narrow guy where he's following his orders to the T, and he's going to do what he has to do. But another thing I also wanted to mention was the artwork in this, which I did say it's gritty and cool, but I think the color is what really makes this book stand out. Luca Romano, where I just think it makes this book really interesting, and it makes everything pop a little bit more, and it just gives it that texture and the vibe that this story needs. So yeah, it's been a sleeper hit. I feel like, even though everyone's talking about it for spec reasons, I don't really hear anybody talking about it for the story, and that's what I've been enjoying. Honestly, I didn't buy it for the spec. I had it on my poll because I'm just a fan of that type of story. So yeah, I think issue 1, was like Robbie didn't really care for it as much, but I thought that it just had a little bit of promise, and it was more of a setup. But I think issue 2 ramped it up, and I'm looking forward to see where issue 3 goes, because I think that's going to be a lot. It's going to be one of those ones where it gets better with each issue.
Issue 2 was way better than the first one. Way better than the first one.
Definitely.
Hey, Dylan, before we get onto your second book real quick, for one, I never got that first one. I never got it. I never even saw it when my shop was sold out.
Wow. Second print came out this week.
They only had like 1 or 2 extra, and even the second print, I didn't have any of those.
It's because of the spec book, right? Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I know they just signed some.
They signed company. Like an option. Somebody optioned it or something like that.
I don't even think that's what it was. I think they just signed. They got a deal with some film company, and now
somebody optioned it. Somebody
okay.
That means that somebody paid for the rights to possibly make it. That's all it means.
Which, so that we could get that in 10 years.
And then you add in the idea that it's Mad Cave, which instantly means low print run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And I also want to say thank you to the super chat from Bread68. I appreciate that as well. And really quick, before we go on to Dylan's second book, I just want to say they've been in the chat like all night. And I said this earlier. We have the writers for Blowtorch, which was my exclusive. Alfred, he's been in here, and the writer for The Edge as well has been in the chat the whole night. Okay. April was the month for Second Sight Publishing to actually hit comic book stores. These books are now available in Diamond in Previews. Your comic book store can order these books now for you, and you can get them. So if you want copies of Blowtorch, I mean, yes, I have my exclusive, and I have some available, but put that aside. You can go and get issue 2. You can sign up. You can put it on your pull list right now. You can do the same thing for The Edge. You can do the same thing for Chess. For any of the Second Sight Publishing books, they are available at your LCS right now. You just have to let them know. Let them know that you want these books, because a lot of times they just get missed, to be totally honest, by the comic shop, because there's so much to choose from. But if you bring it to their attention and say, hey, there's a new publisher, Second Sight Publishing, they're putting out some really good work, Blowtorch, Chess #1, The Edge #1, let them know, put it on your poll list, support these creators. They're supporting us right now, sitting in the chat, talking with everyone. It's up to us to do our part and support them for making these great stories that we're literally sitting here talking about. So I just want to point that out, and thank you, Marvin, for being here as well. Marvin was just on a live stream with us last night with a bunch of us and stuff. It means the world. I really enjoy this hobby, and the simple fact that I get to sit here and talk about comics, and literally the creative people that have the minds to do this are sitting in the chat talking with us at the same time. It's awesome. I mean, I never thought I'd get the opportunity to do this. So I just wanted to take a minute and say, everyone who's watching right now and everyone who's on the replay, check these books out. Ask your LCS to put them on your pull list. Try a couple issues. If you like it, great. Pick them up. If you don't like it, at least you gave it a shot, because they're definitely worth at least giving a shot. So there you go. That's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it.
They're worth it.
They're worth it. So
it was cool meeting Marvin last night. So that was awesome.
Dylan, Your second book, buddy. Let's see it.
As D. Snyder would say, though, that's so metal. Metal. But another one though that I know a lot of people thought issue 1 was good, but it didn't blow a lot of people away. So issue 2 I feel like got a lot more hype, and it's ramping up the story, and I really liked it. Alien 2. This is one that I've been really highly anticipating from Marvel, because it feels so make or break that they're either gonna do something cool with it or they're gonna totally shit the bed. You know what I mean? Because it's a horror. It is a sci-fi horror story, and we know how Marvel is, and they're so PG-13 at the highest. So and this is R-rated.
They didn't do that in the first issue, man. The first issue they blew that girl's head off.
Yeah, which I honestly, a lot of people seem to not really care for issue 1 as much. They liked it, but it didn't. The thing is, issue 1 is always going to be a setup. This is a bigger game plan than just a mini series, so it's of course going to take a little time to get into it. But I thought that issue 1 was incredible. So in my opinion, I thought issue 1 was incredible. I thought issue 2 is just continuing the story and ramping everything up. Issue 1 set everything up really well. Some good character development with this older retired guy that has trouble with his son, and kind of seems to be full of regret. But I think the artwork in this was just great. I love all the red scenes in the comic where what is it? Kind of like the emergency protocols, but now they're on their way to the ship to go rescue their son, rescue his son, and go get this alpha specimen, which honestly we all know that the only real mission is to get that alpha specimen. They don't care if his son dies, they don't care if he dies, honestly. And honestly, if he doesn't come back with that alpha specimen, as the guy says, he's fucked, and they don't care about how the 30 years that he put in, how great of a decorated veteran he is. It does not matter. To him, he totally messed up, and his son put him in a messed up position. But I really do enjoy this artwork, and I think the story is just ramping up to be pretty cool, and I really hope they stay in that, horror element, because this book needs it. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be really bummed out. But I think it has a lot of really creepy undertones going on. I think the artwork goes really well for it. There are some close-ups to the guys' faces where the proportions seem a little off, but other than that, I do think that the artwork is really good, man. And I think the coloring on it, I love the artwork, and I think the coloring, I don't know who does the coloring, but let's see, what is it?
Is it Guru? Who is it?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, Guru FX. Yeah, so you already know the coloring is going to be on point. I've been really enjoying this, and by the end of this, you know what I mean, it really is ramping up. So I'm wondering how long this is going to be going on. If this is,
I think it's ongoing, bro.
It's ongoing, right? I didn't think it was a mini, but I'm wondering, if it's going to be story arcs, or
It'd probably be like, think of like Star Wars. This is probably what's going to happen. Is we're probably going to let this run for like 20-25 issues if it's successful. Philip Kennedy Johnson, who's the writer, will tell his story, right? And maybe he'll bring in another writer to do another story, and it'll be Aliens, kind of like they're doing with Star Wars. And this one will take place at, in a different era or something like that. I don't know. I like how it does feel connected, and I like this book, and I wasn't really even that excited about it, but I shouldn't be surprised because I'm really liking everything that I'm reading lately from Philip Kennedy Johnson. Yeah. So
he's doing great, man. And that's what really sold me on it. I really once his name was attached, that's what really kind of made me think that they will, do this right, because I don't think he would do it unless he'd be like, what I'm saying? He knows that Alien and Aliens are the two big ones, you know what I'm saying? So this is a direct sequel to those, and he knows that if it is not in that vibe and that tone that those movies were in, that people are going to say screw this, and they're going to flip. You know what I'm saying? So he has big expectations following those two incredible and historic movies in the sci-fi horror community. And so far, man, I'm loving what he's doing, man. And I think I think this is gonna be a fun one, man, because I really just the tones in this book are just so cool, man, so cool. And
Dylan, let me ask you this. So I read the first issue,
Yeah.
and I picked up the second issue and stuff. So I haven't read the second one yet, but I got from the first one how the setup was. It's pretty much he's gonna put together a team to go and rescue his son, and that's it's just set up. Is that what they were kind of doing?
Well, it's exactly that. That's what his mission is. The guys that are with him, they're basically for the specimen, the alpha specimen. We need to get this specimen and secure it because it's some life-saving, you know what I'm saying, specimen, and for science and everything. But
because it's that corporation, that's the whole point of these movies. That corporation, the whole theme is still there about the corporation over the people. It's a powerful theme.
Exactly.
It still resonates.
They put hundreds of billions of dollars into this, and they can't just let it go because of his son. But he knows that's his mission. But he knows that he can't just bring his son back. So he has to get the specimen, because if he brings his son back and no specimen, he's screwed. They're exactly as Robbie said. So he has to bring them both, and when they get there, spoiler alert, basically, but that specimen has broken out. So yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride, and I'm looking forward to it. But it's gonna be, you got that father and son dynamic where this son basically kind of used his father to go meet up with him and steal his key card, and he's put his father in a very tight position where he's going to lose everything, everything he's worked for his entire life. And I could see the father dying by the end of it, and sacrificing himself for his son by the end of it. You know what I mean? And that being his way of kind of winning his son's love and showing that he truly did care about him. Because, they have that dynamic where he was never around because he's, a military guy. And, he chose his work over his family, basically. So.
Pretty good picks there, Dylan. I'll give you credit, man. I like
Thank
them
you.
both. Let's see. We got Alfred was taken off. Like I said, it's the writer of the Blowtorch. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, my friend. I'm glad everyone got a chance to check out his book, The Blowtorch and Chess. And both of them are his books, and both the characters, the Blowtorch characters in the Chess book, he's part of the team. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, Robbie.
Chess.
Robbie, you got 2 books for me, buddy. Let's see.
Haha.
Nice.
Really like this book. This book. I went on a weird stretch last week on Tomorrow Cinema.
Was there words in this one?
There are words in this one. This
words.
is the one about the floating, right?
Yeah, I know.
And
I know. So.
great freaking artwork. Love the artwork in this book.
Floats.
I went on a weird stretch because I was on Tomorrow's show last Wednesday, and everybody, I think Nick from Comic Culture was like, I'm not going to lie, I just didn't quite get this one. And I had a couple beers. And so I went on this really long, dive into what I thought this book was about. And then Tomorrow messaged me the next day, or he posted in the PCP Army, and he was like, yeah, Robbie just changed me because I read the book with that in mind. Yeah, this book. Okay, here's what's funny. People like me that read books like Haha and Ice Cream Man by W. Maxwell Prince, and we try to really dive in deep to see what does this book mean.
What does that
this book
mean?
Right? This book is what does the beep and bop and boop mean? But this book is, to me, about people like me that are reading this book trying to find out what the purpose is. Like people that are, everything happens for a reason. Life has a purpose. There's a plan. We hear this all the time. I still believe parts of this, but it's only because of the significance that we personally attach to things. Ultimately, the universe doesn't give a shit. There is no purpose. There is no grand design. It just is, right? So that's kind of what this book is. I think it goes really deep, and I love this book. I think W. Maxwell Prince is able to tackle subjects and themes in a way that many other people don't. It's great. unsettling stuff, and it works in a Twilight Zone-y kind of way. Each issue, it works on a surface level, but you can really dive deep. And the book itself is about diving deep, and sometimes there is no purpose. Because, for instance, I got mine stuck on a wet spot on the counter, and look, ripped it. So there you go. My second book.
Stop getting your books stuck on a wet spot.
Yeah.
My second book is my spite pick of the month, The Silver Coin, #1.
Hey,
I love this book.
Hey, hold on, look at this. Look at this one. You haven't seen this one.
Oh, nice.
Look at that bad boy right there, man.
Bruh, where'd that come from?
That's my LCS Tifa. They're exclusive.
Dude, that's so cool. That's
It's
really
like a
cool.
Jimi Hendrix homage.
That was awesome.
I really like this book. So it's an anthology series. It's all every story is going to involve the silver coin that someone will get, and it will like grant a wish, but in some kind of terrible way. In this issue, goes to a guitarist. He uses it as his pick. All of a sudden, his band is taking off. It's the age of disco. Nobody cares about the rock music that he's playing, but they care when he's playing with this silver coin. Michael Walsh is going to do every single issue, but there's going to be a different writer on every single issue. And like, this is this dude's story. It's a one and done, and it's great. And I'm really excited to see what other writers will do with the idea of the tied-in silver coin. But this is great. So it's your typical story. You've seen this a lot. Basically, a musician selling their soul for talent, and it's going to end bad or something like that. But the way it ends, and it ends in a very Inferno kind of way, like where the whole club that he's playing just bursts into flames and shit. Like, I loved this book. So both of them are Image Comics, 2 strong anthologies. We are bringing back the anthology, and I couldn't be happier. Comics existed as anthologies for years and years and years. And it's cool to see some anthologies like this where each story is done by different talent or just a different one and done story. If you've never read Haha, you can jump in here, right? And if you've never read Silver Coin, if you missed out on #1, you can read issue #2 when it comes out. I think that's the Kelly Thompson one. And like, it's got great Jeff Lemire's doing one of them. Like, it's going to be some banging ass talent here. Yeah, the next one's Kelly Thompson, Girl of Summer.
I'm really hyped for that one, to be honest.
Both great horror anthology unsettling books from Image. There you go.
Awesome. Yeah, Steve White says Image makes up half my pull list right now. I looked at my books yesterday, and 1 was Marvel and 1 was DC, and 14 were independent books. It's a good time to be alive right now.
Yeah.
We had a super chat earlier from Fable. I want to say thank you, Fable, for that super chat. Robbie did something weird to the duck. I don't know what he did, but it was weird looking. Yeah, that was gross.
Silver Coin I liked. I was expecting a little bit more, I felt like, but I really am hyped for issue 2. I to be honest, it's a little bit like it felt like Tenacious D to me. Have you ever seen Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny?
The Pick of Destiny.
The pick. Give me one cock push-up. You never know when you're gonna have to fuck your way out of a situation.
By the way, sorry for his language.
I'm sorry, Bueller. I'm sorry.
I know you are, buddy.
I just turned 18. I finally get to use cuss words.
That's true. Yeah, that's your path. That's awesome. All right. So I got my 2 right here, and I'm going to need Robbie's help, to be totally honest. So I enjoyed this book. Okay. I thought it was great. I thought #6 was probably the best one since #1, to be totally honest.
5 and 6 were my favorite.
Yeah, and I love I mean, they're in the bubble, and there's the battle is just raging and stuff, and you get a nice, appearances from characters from the Image universe, and even zombies, which I was definitely looking for some Walking Dead people, but I did not see any, unless you guys saw them and I missed them.
It's the zombies because they're black and white.
Zombies, I was hoping to see, like Michonne or something. I don't know.
Maybe,
but
eventually.
Yeah. Is at the end, and I don't know how much I want to give this away, but at the end, there's a little twist at the end. And who is she? Is she someone else?
I initially was thinking, is she supposed to be somebody in Invincible?
Yes, that's why.
I've only read like the first 12 issues of Invincible, so I couldn't put anything together. So I think she's just wearing an Invincible T-shirt. But the idea is that she is a comic book character. Do we know who she is yet?
Yeah.
I didn't pick it up, so I didn't pick up on anything in particular.
I wanted that cover so bad, but my shop didn't get any of the variants.
Oh, I love this cover. Look at the.
You got an Eric Larson thing going on tonight, man. That's your second Eric Larson book cover that you've shown.
I like it.
It's a great book, dude. Look at all those characters they got to use too. Like, and not just Image characters. They had Jeff Lemire let them use Black Hammer characters.
I enjoyed. This book was, it's the end of the story arc, and there's a little bit of tragedy involved. I think we lost one of the main characters and stuff. And but I just the whole thing with the girl. I mean, it kind of threw me for a loop. So she's an actual comic character.
Yeah.
But we don't know who, and she's been one this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been one this whole time.
I was really hoping you'd know who that was.
I have no idea. It was just I mean, I was thinking, I was like, am I supposed to know who she is? Like, short blonde hair, she's wearing an Invincible shirt, but like, I don't know if we really got it. But it was so cool to see the Black Hammer characters, see Retro Girl and Trip Hammer from Powers, see Hit Girl. Yeah, like it was really, really cool.
That was my favorite. Because where was Spawn? No Spawn.
Spawn's captured, remember? Spawn's in that jail that we saw in issue 3 or 2 or whatever.
Okay. That's why I couldn't remember if he was in issue 3 or not. I know he was on the cover, but damn. Okay.
There's some really nice. And Rob Liefeld was like, use any character of mine that you want, please.
Oh,
use them all.
And Buzzkill.
Buzzkill. That's dope.
He's like, I ain't drunk enough for this.
Oh, yeah. Gertrude from I Hate Fairyland. Yeah, really cool stuff.
Yeah, Yep, that was another good one. There was a lot of cool stuff. I thought I was trying to.
Samaritan from Astro City. Kurt Busiek let him use Samaritan, and they're using the Mark Waid characters from Incorruptible and stuff. And I noticed that Mark Waid is credited as the editor in this issue, and I don't know if that's been the case, but Mark Waid's the editor, which I thought was super cool. Yeah, that right there is what we were wanting. You got Chew down there. I don't know who the people are down there. The dude with the white in his hair and the chick with the domino mask. I don't know who they are. But I figured out who everybody else is. There's Luther Strode right there in the front too. Oh man, Darkness, come on.
I thought the artwork in these last 2 issues were the absolute best too. Like I feel like Jeff Shaw was, really stretching his muscles in these last 2 issues, and it was almost just that they were like holding out on that incredible artwork for these last 2, and I just really loved it. And next we get a Chip Zdarsky one-shot issue. So, Chip Zdarsky's missing, but we get the end of the Kids Love Chains conclusion, which is funny that Johnny Cates got the Kids Love Chains for Image, and then Spawn has the Chain Gang story arc going on.
Well, that's a quote from Todd McFarlane.
Oh, I know.
Kids love change, yeah.
I know. Well, it's
true. It is totally true. Like the moment that the Spawn action figure Kickstarter got to the point where we were getting real chains and not like plastic chains, I lost my shit.
Really? Yeah, I didn't understand that blonde girl at the end. That threw me. The only thing I was just thinking what you guys thought. Some Invincible.
Someone in the chat knows, but I haven't seen anything in the chat.
What if it's somebody from Baby Teeth?
Yeah.
You know what? That could make sense.
If anything, it's somebody from a Donnie book, right? If it is an existing character, it's from a Donnie book.
Maybe it's the granddaughter from
God Country.
God Country.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Well, I thought that the granddaughter was the old lady that gave the sword to them.
Whatever. Who knows?
Nobody knows.
I wish we got Kick-Ass, because Hit Girl was my favorite. Hit Girl and Savage Dragon were my 2 favorites to see.
I'd love seeing Colonel Weird from Black Hammer. That was super cool. It was cool to see characters that weren't just Image properties.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Yeah. And she's like, "Are you from Black Hammer?"
Yeah. All right, I got my second book here, and I'm curious to see what you guys thought about this one. Berserker number 2, which is pretty much the origin story for Berserker.
Did he just say?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good. You know, I mean, it was 80,000 years in the past or whatever it is. I don't know. But
You didn't get the foil cover?
No, I just didn't. I didn't see it. But I mean, I saw people buy it, but they didn't have it in my shop. So
I put it down, and this guy snatched it right up. I didn't get the foil for issue 1, so I didn't. If I had the foil,
I didn't get it.
I would have got it.
I buy every foil comic I see.
But I want to ask a question.
Not if I don't have issue 1 foil.
This is like the birth of the Berserker in this issue. Did lightning hit that lady's hoo-hoo?
Oh yeah.
What happened?
It's basically showing that she is impregnated by divinity, right?
Yeah.
That's what that is, like Zeus or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. Hey, dude, and talk about
that's the ultimate money shot, by the way.
Talk about a spectacular page and coloring.
Dude, it's great because I love the artwork in this book because it's Ron Garney and it's intentionally trying to be Frank Miller, Klaus Janson-esque, right? But it also gets to open up and be psychedelic in those moments, like that Dylan just showed. I think the book is really good. It's gruesome, brutal action, right? And it's got like some substance to it. Like this dude's story is kind of interesting, and I feel like you know we saw not too long ago all the rumors that Keanu Reeves was talking to Marvel. I think he wanted to play Wolverine and it didn't work out, and then he called up Boom. It's like, I got an idea.
It's definitely brutal. I mean, the first book was just brutal. The second one was brutal. I like more bloody, action and stuff like that. And I don't know. I like how they're pacing the book. I like what they're doing, what they're telling the story, and they're telling with him like sitting with that lady or doctor or whatever it is, kind of going through, and how they're presenting the story and how it's being told is being told very well. I asked this question. I'm curious what you guys might think. How much input do you think Keanu Reeves has on this book as opposed to Matt Kent?
I think he told him, man. Yeah, I think he told him like this is the idea. I think they fleshed out the idea together, and Matt's writing the scripts.
Yeah.
And maybe Keanu reads the scripts and maybe sends some notes back or something. But he's not. I don't think Keanu's actively writing the book. Obviously, that's why Matt was brought in, right? And Matt is becoming one of the best writers in comics, like so low key doing it too. He's the writer of that ENIAC book that everybody keeps talking about, right?
Yeah.
So like he's so good. He's a great artist too.
He's got a lot of range. He's got a lot of range as well. I mean, he did like folklords.
Yeah,
doing stuff like this.
Fear Case is going on right now too, and he did Mind Management, which is if you like things to dive into and really like think about, check out Mind Management. It's a really great book.
Yeah, and Bang has been really good too. I've been waiting for the new issue. I feel like there's been a delay on that.
See, John, I love silly action and violence though, but you're right. If you don't like that stuff, you know, if it's not your cup of tea, this is not going to be your fit.
I love it, man. I love like the barbarian style, everything, man. I think this is just so over the top and awesome, you know.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, those are my two picks. So let's go. I mean, we're almost at the 2 hour mark, so I want to go ahead and just kind of open it up, and you can show. This will be our final round, and you can show how many books
the rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid fire. So go ahead, Robbie, take it away, buddy.
Swamp Thing. Ron V continues to excel, crafting a great Swamp Thing book that's just going to be classic. And it's only 10 issues, but they have ideas for season 2 and 3, and it seems like the response has been strong. So I think we can get some more. Department of Truth. I'm loving this book. It's nice to see Martin Simmons back on the artwork. It's getting deep into it. I just love all of the explorations that this book is doing, especially with the lettering and the art. The Joker. I don't like the idea of a $5.99 regular size comic, even though it does have the punchline. But dude, this book is so good. It's just good. The artwork is great.
It's wonderful.
It's a fantastic freaking book. Homesick Pilots wrapped up its first story arc this month. Dan Waters as well, who did Picture of Everything Else. Such a great book. So worth it. I'm so pumped for volume 2. Dan Waters is going to be here or not here, but on my channel, Pop Culture Philosophers, May 13th, 2 p.m. Central Time. Batman Black and White #5 blew me away. I loved almost every story in here. There was one that was a dud. Aside from that, really good stuff. This was the best Scout #1 I've read to date.
Oh, I missed that one.
Because Chaos Agent has come out. My shop still has one if you need one. I even got this nice variant cover, bro. I'll send you one. I'll just send you one. But this book was really cool. Great art, a great theme, a great story. Really cool stuff. Really liked it. Scout has been doing some good stuff too. Scout's been doing some really good stuff. And I thought Seven Secrets came back with the start of its second arc incredibly strong. This book, now that all the setup has been done, it is able to just take off, and they're going into directions I did not expect. And when a book does something, a book I like does something that I don't expect, that's awesome. Great cover too. I want that jacket.
All right. I got to read that one. I didn't get a chance to.
So there you go.
That's your rapid fire. Thank you, Robbie. Dylan, what do you got? Rapid fire, buddy. Go for it.
All right. I thought, hold on, where's the one? I got Warcorns, Combat Unicorns for Hire. I've been really digging. This was the conclusion of this. Really just kind of fun, goofy, animated with some really cool coloring and artwork. I've just been loving this story. This is like a kind of like a story building that this guy Garrett Gunn has been doing. And it's going to be an animated series. It's just been a really wonky series. Dead End Kids concluded with issue 4. Frank Gogol, world building as well with the ending of this, with Murphy coming at the end and kind of tying back the original Dead End Kids Volume 1 and getting a tease that there will be a Volume 3 of Dead End Kids. I'm really pumped for that too, because I did really enjoy this series. I loved Volume 1 though. And I did love this though as well. It was very sad to see the guy, I forget his name, his sister was a veteran and she died in the war, and then he goes off to the war and then he ends up dying in action and being a freaking hero. That was really sad. Frank Gogol, man, he just has a really grounded way of telling his stories, and just a big fan of his, man. He's a great guy and just a hustler, man.
Great dude. And he's got his own channel too, Comic Book Food Chain. Everybody should check it out.
Yeah, definitely. The dude's a great guy and just a hustler, man. I've never seen anybody do what he does, man, when it comes to, just
he literally builds spec hype on his books, and there's nothing attached to it aside from just how he promotes his books.
Yeah, I could not, end this show without throwing this book out there, just a great story. And still bummed, man, because I gotta read. I never got my issue 3 of No Heroine, so I gotta get a chance to read that, man. I never got a chance to finish that. Kanto and the City of Giants. This is a new story arc, but without Zucker, and it was very interesting to see Kanto done by somebody else, artwork wise and coloring wise. But I think it worked. I obviously missed Zucker. Because he is just so good, man. But I thought this was a great story, and I really loved seeing the Giants thrown in here, and that was really fun. This one, I'll say I talked about this. I did not get issue 1 because Robbie said it sucked really bad. But dude, who could pass up Ram V, Chip Zdarsky, Donnie Cates, Kyle Hotz, Marco Cacchetto, Fernandez, and Rachel Rosenberg, all in one book. Oh my God, this was a really good one. And I didn't even care that I'd missed out on that. I didn't pick up issue 1. I had to get on that, especially that Donnie Cates story was really cool. Kind of ties into the Venom lore. The story was fun. I really enjoyed the Godzilla stuff. The kids stuff was really cheesy, and I did not really like it. But I love that cover, so I had to throw it in just for the cover. Just for the cover. Stillwater #6. This was really good. Chip Zdarsky just slaying it, and I really dug this issue. I thought it's really ramping up with, the freaking town or the courtroom burning down and the judge, and that guy kind of bringing in his infantry soldiers or his, crew that he was in the war with. It's ramping up to something good. Darth Vader, really love this one. I've really been digging this. This is definitely let me see. Yeah, this is my favorite one that's going on because High Republic still. I'm behind one issue, but High Republic just ain't doing it for me. I'm still trying to give it a shot because I feel like I'm trying to give it a shot and let it world build because they're all new characters. But dude, this was really cool. It just dives right in. It's got the Exegol stuff going on from kind of time with I feel like it's kind of making some marks with the newer Star Wars because we got Exegol and Palpatine in that. Noctera artwork is so good in this. Just a really fun story.
Yeah.
Firepower. I think this came out this last month. I forget, but I'm so hyped for issue 11 and 12. We're getting the oversized. This story, so good, man. So good. I really hope that this is the next Kirkman series to get optioned because I want to see this so bad on the big screen or on the freaking Amazon Prime or whatever. But Ultra Mega #2, really digging this, man. I've been so into the kaiju stuff since Kong versus Godzilla. Been watching all the old school kaiju stuff, and this is just bringing me right into that mode. You know what I'm saying? That's why I ended up getting that Godzilla. But this is the one. This is the kaiju book you need to be checking out if you're a kaiju fan. And that's it. I know I hit it with a lot, so I'm sorry if I took a couple from.
Yeah. Dylan showed us every book he bought this month.
And some from last month.
Awesome, man.
Firepower last month.
A lot of good stuff in there. I'm going to do a little tribute for Bob since he's not here. I got Daredevil is so good. It's the best thing ever.
I appreciate that Dylan did that with Kanto too, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Oh, don't forget Kanto. Kanto is so good. It's just I must have bought a copy. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I did. Just the hell of it and stuff. But Kanto, it's just a little dude walking around with no heart. I don't know. There you go. There's your Bob tribute.
Love you, Bob.
Miss you, Bob. Sorry he wasn't feeling well, everyone, and hopefully he's feeling better tomorrow or whatever. So these are some of the books I enjoyed this month as well. Immortal Hulk #45. I thought this ended really well. I'm really looking forward to #46. I'm looking forward to getting myself a Hulk that doesn't have loose skin. So that's kind of what I'm looking for because I'm tired of this Hulk. I want a Hulk, a smash Hulk. I want one that actually has muscles and stuff. And so hopefully the next issue we get that and look like from this one. That's what we might be getting. There was You Promised Me Darkness. People got powers because of a comet. And then you had Phantom of the Scan, and basically people got powers because of a comet. Both these books are about comets.
Night of the Comet.
Night of the Comet, right here. Actually, both two really good books. They're different, but they do have that in common. They're based after Halley's Comet and then a random comet hitting the Earth or something like that that caused people to either be born with powers or to get powers. And kind of very similar, but two really good books. So there you go.
J. Michael Straczynski is calling his lawyer right now.
Yeah. Department of Truth, Robbie already showed it. Really loved it. Guess what? The artwork is back. The artwork that we missed from the first 5 issues. We had some weird thing going on the last 2 issues. It was really cartoony. I didn't like it at all. Kind of took me out of the book. But the artwork is back. The story is back. I mean, the main character, I can't remember his name, Kurt or something like that. Or Cole, yeah, Cole. He doesn't know what side to join. I mean, that's really the dilemma. That's the whole story arc going forward. Who is, if you want to say good or bad, I don't know, but he just doesn't know really what side to be on, who's telling the truth, or whether there is such a thing as a Department of Truth or whatever you want to call it. So, is there such a thing as truth? Is this real? Exactly. The Scumbag #7. Love this book. Love me some orgy books. Yeah, there's an orgy in every issue. There's an orgy in every issue. I mean, I don't know. It's like you get halfway through this book and you're like, oh, maybe there's no orgy in this book. Nope. You get to page 17 and it's all orgy from the rest of the book. And he never gets to be a part of it, man. Never. Yeah, and he's just poor guy, but at least he gets to watch. So I mean, he's not like, totally dry or whatnot. So there you go. The artwork was great in that book, by the way. It is. And it's great in every book. And there's different. Didn't you say there's different artists in every one of them? Yeah, every single one of them. Same colors, but a different artist. Yeah. Yeah, it looks amazing. It's a lot of fun. This needs to be a TV show.
Oh man, like on show HBO for sure, right? After dark,
late night Cinemax or whatnot,
Skinemax.
I'm liking this series, but I have to agree with Robbie. This really didn't go anywhere this time around. Nuclear Family number 3, it just kind of is about the kids, and they're just kind of lollygagging in the bunker or whatnot, and that's pretty much what they did.
Swamping around, man.
Yeah. So the first 2 issues were much more. I was much more into them, but I'm still looking forward to this series. It's pretty good. And this one, which I haven't read yet, and I know number 3 is coming out either next week or the week after, but I just want to show it, and I want to give the floor to Robbie because he actually talked me into this book. And I went and bought 1 and 2, but Hollow Heart, number 2. And Robbie sold me on his review from the first one, and then the second one, he killed it. And I went and bought both the books, but I haven't read them yet. Robbie, do you want to shed some light on this book real quick?
It's about this being who is in this facility, and it's this entity that's been created from all these different body parts in like this mech suit. So it's kind of like a mech Frankenstein. And this being, they just want to die, right? And they're tethered to this facility. And if they escape, they're just doing experimentation. Like they don't care about this person. They don't care about this entity. And he finds out that if he gets out of there, he's going to lose his connection and he's going to die. And that's what it's about. Like it's not legit if there's no orgy. That's right, man. That was Rick Remender's game plan. That was in the Bible, the book. He goes, every issue has an orgy. And that's why he got so many artists to sign on, because they all get to draw an orgy. And who doesn't want to, right? I'd love to see a George Perez orgy, by the way. Don't you think how amazing a George Perez orgy would be? You can look at that for 20 years and find new things. Hollow Heart, though, is a very resonating book. It's got a lot of nuance to it. It's one of the most human books I've ever seen. It's about how we feel disconnected, but it's about a being who is suicidal. And then all of a sudden one person cares about him. And it's such an amazing book, so well done. And it is haunting. It is freaking haunting. I love it, and I think it's very much worth it. It's one of the most subtly, impactfully emotional books out there on the market right now.
Nice. Well, thank you, Robbie, for sharing that. Before we go, I want to get a little. What are you guys looking forward to next month? May Heroes Reborn interest you guys at all?
Nope.
No.
No.
Anything in May jumping out that's people should be aware of?
Beckstar. Beckstar is a new one that debuts next Wednesday, actually May 5th, and it's going to be written by Joe Corallo, who's a good friend of mine. He's been on the show several times. He will be on my show tomorrow night for PCP Movie Night, 9 p.m. Central Time. We're talking about Mallrats, the Kevin Smith classic, with Joe Corallo. And Beckstar is a really great, fun sci-fi book that's got a little bit of irreverency to it. So if you like Han Solo type adventures, you might want to check out Beckstar next week from Mad Cave.
Yeah.
And the art's fire.
Anything from you, Dylan, you looking forward to next month?
I'm trying to think what's coming, but I think Barbaric is one that's coming maybe next month. I'm not sure.
I think that's July, but
is that the month? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But that's a really good book. I've read the first issue. Michael Morisi, really good stuff. He's going to be on PCP May 27th, I think. So,
yeah. Well, I know I'm definitely looking forward to this concluding. I'm trying to think of new titles that are coming out.
I think we get the return of Something is Killing the Children next month.
We do.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Towards the end of the month, which will start the new story arc of her. I think it's her origin story.
Her origin, yeah. It's the origin, yeah. They sent us an email today. They were like, Boom Studios, Something is Killing the Children, number 16's on FOC Monday. And I was like, cool. Did they give me a PDF? No, they didn't. Thanks, Boom.
Thanks, Boom. Gentlemen, this has been fun. I'm going to give you guys the stage a little bit. Dylan, what do you got coming up on your channel? Anything that we should know about?
Yeah, this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, me and Robbie will be reviewing or spotlighting Eli Roth, a real popular horror director of the last 20 years, one of the newer guys, one of me and Robbie's favorite new guys of this last I'd say he's been on the scene for the last like 15 years
like
at least.
20 decades,
15,
bro. Like 20 years.
20
So like
decades, 20
Yeah.
decades.
I
Yeah,
caught
well,
myself, young man. Come down.
last 20 years, man, one of our favorites. So it's gonna be fun, man, because I know a lot of people ain't always label him as torture porn, but dude, man, I don't like that name. I don't like that term at all. It is the
Me neither.
dumbest thing ever. But it's gonna be a lot of fun because the movies he's done are awesome. They are so much fun, and he really made me scared to leave the country and go to Europe. So
It makes me scared to leave the country. Period.
right, you know what I'm saying? So
I'm
definitely
gonna get eaten, man. I'm gonna get eaten.
right. It's there's gonna be some fun ones. We'll be talking about Knock Knock, Green Inferno, Hostel 1 and 2,
Cabin fever.
Cabin Fever. Yeah, some of my all-time favorites. So yeah, definitely be there Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Very cool, man. Appreciate that, Dylan.
Thank you, Bueller.
Robbie, what about you? I know you guys always got stuff going on.
Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central on Pop Culture Philosophers is PCP Movie Night. It's the winner of the latest PCP Army movie poll. It was the audience choice, and we're covering Mallrats. It'll be me, Hammer Time Holeshoe, maybe Jay Strick. He's a maybe right now. He kind of backed out a little bit today. Brooks and Jelani, of course, and Joe Corallo. I will be doing the weekly pop culture wrap-up Saturday morning on my channel. I will be on Dylan's Horror Show talking about Eli Roth Saturday night, and then, of course, Rockin' Robbie Live at 7 p.m. Central Time on Sunday night.
Awesome, man. Always good stuff to watch.
Thank you again for hosting. I really appreciate it, Bueller.
Yeah, I love hosting this. I want to tell everyone, we're a couple days away from May, and May is the month that we do the push to the 20,000 subscriber. We're about 600 and some odd away from the 20,000 mark. So I'm really hoping May is the month that we get there. And I want to thank everyone who turned out tonight and all my subscribers that watch on my channel and also these gentlemen's channel as well. If you're not familiar with Robbie or Dylan, please check them out. They're definitely worth your time. They're worth my time. They're friends of mine, and I love these guys. So it's always awesome to sit here and talk about comics with them and have all these great people in the chat. Unfortunately, Bob, he left us. What are you going to do? But Bob will be back. Is it Bob's month next month, or is it you, Robbie?
It's me. So next month it'll be Pop Culture Philosophers hosting the show. So
nice.
I'm very excited. Very excited. Probably be the same night I do the Michael Morisi conversation. So
there we go.
Yeah, very excited.
All right. So anyway, stay attached to our channels. We'll let you know when that happens and stuff because we usually announce like the week before, and we read all our books, and at least we pretend to read our books. We kind of go from there. So. Anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate you joining me tonight. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you for all the super chats as well. Thank you for the creators from Second Sight Publishing for being here with us tonight. The creators of Blowtorch, the creators of Chess, the creators of The Edge for being here. And whatever Robbie's doing to the duck.
I was scanning it.
It's not the first time he's done it. Anyway, all right, everyone. Appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. We'll see you next time.
Station.
Bye.